Well, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is the Breeders' Cup World Championship starts tomorrow. The sad news is this is the last day of the breakfast show. So grab your latte, your cappuccino, your breakfast cannoli, because we're bumping Joe Talamo to get Mike Repole. It's breakfast at the Breeders' Cup. And welcome back. Our final morning at the Marquee, as after they stop serving the avocado toast and cappuccinos, they're going to turn that into some high dollar seating for the Breeders' Cup World Championships. It's opening day for the Del Mar Autumn Meet. We'll have live horse racing this afternoon, but this is our last morning of live Breeders' Cup horses on the track as we welcome you back to where the turf meets the surf, and Fierceness is back. He's back in action. He won the Pacific Classic, second in the Classic a year ago. Can he turn the tables on his rival, Sierra Leone, your Classic winner from a year ago? Race losing some panache with the defection of the Derby and Belmont winner in Sovereignty, but we still have the top three finishers from a year ago coming back. And on the turf, we have a horse going for history, trying to win his third Breeders' Cup Turf event. That is, of course, Rebel Romance. All that and much, much more, as we hope to have owner Mike Repole join us on the show to talk about Mindframe, Fierceness, and all things Breeders' Cup related. Mike Joyce, Joe Talamo, Simon Bray, our last breakfast show here for the 2025 Breeders' Cup. And we still have a ton to get to, Joe.
Yeah, we do. I'm definitely going to miss it. You need to write a book with all your opens, for sure.
Yeah.
Make it like a Dr. Seuss book.
Instead of the cat in the hat, it'll be the Joe in the jacket. Simon, though, We've got... I mean, this is it, right? We're there. The Breeders' Cup World Championships are tomorrow. Live racing in the afternoon. Everything is done at this point. It's just waiting in anticipation.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the worst part for a trainer in some respects because you've done all the work and you've just got to get there in one piece. So there'll be a lot of schooling behind us in the afternoon, I would imagine, for some of these Breeders' Cup runners. And then this morning, I'm looking forward to seeing a couple more Europeans that we haven't seen. See the Fire in the Filly and Mare Turf. Horrible post position, but she's got the form that she can make some noise in there. And Arizona Blaze in the sprint for the Europeans as well.
We have got a lot to do. We've got horses schooling behind us as we speak. As we take a look at our crew for the last day of the breakfast show, we are bringing back Rishi Prasad, Andy Biancone, and Michelle Yu. They have been doing excellent work all week long. I'll let you decide. Do you want to start with Andy?
Yeah.
You want to start with Andy?
Let's start with Andy B.
Joe wants to start with Andy. Andy Biancone, what you got?
Mike, Joe, Simon, good morning. Gee, time flies when you're having fun because I can't believe it's already the last day of the breakfast show, but lots to look forward to today. So far, Todd Pletcher's Breeders' Classic horses have already hit the track. Fierceness, Antiquarian, and Mindframe look fantastic, and they're back in their stalls now. Second set just went out, and Mike Repole is actually here, so we'll look forward to seeing him on the set at 9 o'clock, but for now, he's enjoying the looks of Fierceness and others at the Todd Pletcher barn. Michelle.
Andy, we're outside here. We were actually watching journalism, but look, we got Ben Tornado right next to us. A quarter of him sold last night at the Keeneland paddock sale for a cool $1 million. So Michael and Jules Ivorone buying into Ben Tornado. I came to check out their purchase. They haven't made it out here yet, but I think that they're going to. So we'll catch up with them about what they think about this big old hunk of a horse. In addition, journalism out here. He's already gone out for his piece of work today, so we're going to be chilling out with him as he cools out, and then following up with all kinds of people, including that guy right there. You see him? Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Hi, Michael. He's ignoring me already. Hi, Michael. Oh, we got a hi already. It's going to be a good morning, guys. I just know it now.
I hope it is going to be a good morning. I'm outside the quarantine barn. The internationals are here, and a few of the internationals just having a little last-minute look. The red cap over there is Andrew Balding, who's got See the Fire, John Quill, etc. The purple cap of Rafe Beckett just chatting away to Steph Cooley, and just behind us, just behind me, is Colin Keane. He'll be riding John Quill. He, of course, had a Breeders' Cup winner last year with Magnum Force in the juvenile turf, hoping for more success this time around. I'm looking forward to seeing them all getting through the day safe and sound. We know how precarious things can be, and I'll be catching up with those that I haven't had a chance to speak to. I'm looking forward to seeing Charlie Appleby's Diamond Rain as well. She's such a big, enormous filly. I think she weighs 550 kilos, and finding out more about her suitability for the Breeders' Cup filly and mare turf here at Del Mar a little bit later on. Fingers crossed we get through the morning safe and sound.
Richie, I'm so thankful to have one of your fellow countrymen to translate kilos to me. First of all, Simon, what's a kilo and how many pounds is that?
Yeah, I don't know exactly the exact conversion. I've been here so long.
What about stones? How many stones?
14, 1 stone is 14 pounds, I can tell you that.
Okay, so 550 kilos equals how many stones?
I don't have no idea.
Just Google it.
Yeah.
Someone get that man more coffee. Fierceness earlier today was out on the racetrack putting in, as Michelle put it, his final wee bit of work, and he looms large over the field. The now morning line favorite with the scratch of Sovereignty. He is Todd Pletcher's best chance of winning the Breeders' Cup Classic. He won here in the Pacific Classic with the same post position, and Mike Rapoli said it. Hey, we're 1 for 1 from the rail. We'll take it.
Yeah, and I mean, his 2 races here, to me, I think are his best. He finished second in this race last year and then won in the Pacific Classic with not the best of trips. We all saw it when he ducked in at the start and had to overcome coming from behind, which he's really never did before with that adversity. But definitely has to contend with the rail post. But Johnny V, he's going to be ready for it. And, I mean, looks an absolute picture right here galloping this morning.
He's another horse that, he runs well off a layoff. And if you look at it, by design, they gave him the time off since the Pacific Classic. I think it's going to be out well for him. Every time he, goes to the sidelines and comes back, he fires his best shot. I mean, we always talk about horses, having prior experience over a racetrack. And as Joe mentioned, he's got some great experience here. So, he can handle this scenario. He's been here before a couple of times, and he's the deserved favorite. I mean, there's no question about it.
And Fierceness is a tremendous animal as he is out there. This was earlier today. We'll check in with him at the barn. Right now, let's check in with our very own Michelle Yu.
I was asking Mark Cassie if he knew how to convert stones to pounds, but we can't figure it out. I have no idea. We should have Googled first.
Yeah.
Oh, well. We're actually here at Mark Cassie and Nitrogen. I have been wanting to see Nitrogen all week, but every time I come by, she's either out of her stall or she's tied up in the back. Does she spend as much time on her stall as Forever Young? I feel like she does.
I don't know, maybe.
Oh, you have something to say here? She loves peppermints. I can see she's a very ferocious horse, right?
She is.
Oh, my goodness. I can see why she's the front stall horse. Very kind. How has that helped her?
Oh, it helps her immensely because she doesn't get too excited about anything.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at her record, she's been everywhere, and she doesn't let anything bother her.
I mean, you ship around a lot of horses, but I feel like not every horse mentally can handle that, right? But she certainly can.
It's one of the things that makes her so great, The other thing is when, Jose rides her, most of the time he can shut her off or do whatever he needs to do, and she'll respond, which also makes her great. That was Tepin did this. Tepin did the same thing. You can put them where you want to put them, and you don't need everybody.
She's very upset that I have nothing to give her except for this mic. Yes, I want to give her one too. How big is she? Because she looks, I mean, I'm small, you're small, but she looks very big.
I think she's about 16'2" or something.
I think you're bigger. We should get a stick and find out. Going into the distaff, you've already had the experience against older horses. Do you think that benefits?
Well, it gives me more confidence. I don't know. You always worry how you're going to stack up against the big girls. I always tell everybody, these are high school players. We went against the college players, or we can be the college players going against the pros. That may be a better. So you always worry about that. I came away from the Spinster more confident than ever. I know she got beat, but I was very proud of her. I also ran in this. One of the reasons I went to the Spinster, she likes about a 4 to 5 week pattern, race pattern. If we ran in the Cotillion, it was going to be 7 or 8 weeks, and I didn't want to do that. So I thought, if anything, her spinster race may not be her top spot.
When you came here last year, there on the grass, did you think in a year we're going to be here in the distaff?
No, not even close. I thought she was pretty good. I wasn't. Her race in the Breeders' Cup last year was very good. If you go back and watch, Jose was pretty frustrated after the race. He said he thought he could have won, but he got stopped around the 4.5, and she shuffled back. That's when she did that, I said, well, she's a pretty good horse. But who would ever thought, she could do both?
I love it. Well, Nitrogen, a multi-surface talent, and sweet to boot, guys. I might just hang out here all morning. I don't even need a dog. I don't need a dog or a goat or a turkey. I just got pet Nitrogen. What?
We're out of peppermints.
Oh, no.
So it's not going to be good.
We're going to have to run to the Walmart.
Look, he said earlier in the week they're going to have to beat her, and I don't disagree. I think
You going to Australia? Are you? No.
Simon Bray talking to Bill Mott there. Simon, what was that all about?
I asked him if he was going to Australia for the Melbourne Cup. He goes, I don't believe I'll make that trip.
All right, Nitrogen out on the racetrack earlier today for the Breeders' Cup Distaff. That's actually a huge story we were talking about earlier the week with Bill Mott. We'll revisit that in a moment as he sends a horse over to the Melbourne Cup. But there's a look at Nitrogen. She's a tremendous talent. I mean, you look at the way she started the year, right? I mean, she wins the Gingerbrew, the Florida Oaks, the Appalachian, the Edgewood, and then the Wonder again by 17 lengths in a 3-horse affair in the slop. But even though that was only a 3-horse affair, I think just the way that she handled the main track under that much water really gave them an idea like, hey, let's go to the Alabama with this thing.
Yeah, and I mean, she did not disappoint at all, winning the Alabama. And to me, in defeat, I thought the Spinster might have been one of her best races, finishing second by a head in that race. The last eighth of a mile inside the 16th pole, she kind of drifted out a little bit, and I think maybe cost her. And that was her first time against older fillies, too. And I thought ran a really good race. And I kind of agree with Mark Cassidy. I mean, I do think not necessarily it's her race to lose, but I think she's coming in here. They're probably as good as ever.
Yeah, she did that in the Alabama too. She drifted out a little bit.
Yeah,
she's done that the last couple of starts. I don't know whether it's when she hits the front, she kind of starts looking around, but it's pretty rare, a horse making their 11th start to do that.
So Nitrogen going to be one of the favorites in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. Let's take a look at the competition she faces. She's 4-1 on the morning line. Seismic Beauty, the favorite at 9-5 for Bob Baffert and Juan Hernandez. And yes, she is a very likely winner, but there are no layups in the Breeders' Cup.
No, none at all. And I think Seismic Beauty does have an advantage of drawing outside and having so-called a speed advantage. I would imagine she'll be in front or right near the lead. And she loves it here at Del Mar. She's raced here 3 times. She has 2 wins and a second, and she's coming off a Grade 1 victory here in the Clement Hurst this past summer.
Yeah, I mean, Seismic Beauty is going to be one of the shorter prices this weekend. There's no question about it. She can dictate everything from the get-go. I mean, she clearly gets the lead. I don't see Nitrogen and her going head-to-head around the racetrack, so it's her race to lose. I mean, you just have to, again, it's kind of like the Classic. You have to assess the 3-year-old group against the older group here, because there's a big bunch of 3-year-olds in here trying to take on older mares.
Well, Nitrogen took on those older mares last time out, Simon, to your point, and she comported herself quite nicely.
Yep, she did. I mean, behind Jinjin, who I thought, I think could sit. Jinjin's interesting for Brendan Walsh, because I think if Seismic Beauty gets the lead, Jinjin's the horse that maybe sits in second with Nitrogen. And if Seismic Beauty, for whatever reason, doesn't fire, those are the 2 horses that are in that spot to pick up the pieces late.
And going back to Jinjin, I feel like right now she's in such good form, too,
yes,
for Brendan Walsh, coming off that victory in the Spinster where Nitrogen was second. So she's coming in here really good.
Yep.
We have plenty to get to today. We're going to check in right now with Rishi Prasad.
Yeah. We're just walking out with Wimbledon Hawkeye, who's due to run in the Breeders' Cup Turf on Saturday. Of course, a winner at Kentucky Downs on his most recent start for Frankie Dettori. His trainer, James Owen, is going to be following him out in just a moment. He's obviously got a big task on taking on the likes of Mini Hawk and Rebels Romance. But the fact that Wimbledon Hawkeye has been pointed at this race coming up on Saturday, suggests that his trainer, James Owen, who's having his first Breeders' Cup runners this weekend, he's got Aspect Island as well running on Friday. I think James Owens got an ability of getting his horses to improve with each and every start, and it's possible that Wimbledon Hawkeye, even though he's had a busy enough season, is peaking at the right time. I might try and catch up with James. Actually, he's just coming around this way. I'll just grab a quick word with him as the horse wanders out. James, I'll walk with you, so walk fast, of course. I'm just saying, I'm just mooting the fact that this horse might still be improving at this time of the year, even though he's been kept quite busy.
Yeah, he's been busy all year, but you know, his form and his figures have looked like he's improving. Physically, he's improved as well, got stronger. He loves to see the plane, and he's actually he handled the last trip really well and enjoyed it. And he comes alive. He comes alive at the track. So it's a massive ask for him. It's lovely for us, me and my whole team, and to have runners here at the Breeders' Cup. We've been here. So, our first day here ourselves, but it's like a movie, so we're enjoying it.
Enjoy the experience. Thanks. Good luck.
A Wimbledon Hawkeye out on the racetrack, and we'll have more from that camp in a little bit. Let's take a look at that race at Kentucky Downs, Joe and Simon. Very unique surface, but far more European in style than the American tracks. And here's Wimbledon Hawkeye under the Hall of Famer Frankie Dettori, who also announced his retirement yesterday. We'll get to that story as well. But this was back in the end of August.
Yeah, this is his first time running at Kentucky Downs. He ends up winning this race by a head. He was the favorite here. And then getting back to Frankie, he rode this course so good this past summer. I know he had ridden there before, but his agent Ron Anderson was telling me that he actually walked the course with him one morning, and he was telling him all the different angles where he would like to be and not to be. But it definitely, I mean, it makes sense all the years he rode in Europe with tracks like that.
I mean, this is a 3-year-old. He was competing against in the top races, Mike, and he's just a cut below. That's why when he came to the States against a weaker group, he got the job done. So, I mean, he's got a shot. He's 20-1 on the morning line, but I could see him finishing in the top 4.
Well, I think that was a big point that Rishi was trying to make. Even at this point in the year, as busy as he's been, is he still improving? He's going to have to take a step forward. Is that step there?
I think it is. I really do. I think it is. But, I mean, I'm going to steal a stat from Ed DeRosa, and I want to give credit where credit's due. And he put it out there last night late and kind of got everyone. But horses that ran at Kentucky Downs during the Breeders' Cup year that came here and ran in the Breeders' Cup are 0 for 125. Not their previous start, but if they ran at any points at Kentucky Downs, they've blanked. They're 0 for 125.
Wow.
So I don't usually buy into those sort of things, but that's pretty telling.
Well, that shows correlation. Does it show causality, though? Is there a reason for that? Or is it just at this point through? I mean, the Breeders' Cup is the toughest stage to win on. So it doesn't necessarily mean that there's something about running at Kentucky Downs that prevents you from winning a Breeders' Cup race.
Right. I think it's obviously we're talking about turf races. Well, some running back 2 surfaces, but I think a lot of it is just probably timing and placement, right? I mean, whether you elect to run at Kentucky. I mean, this horse ran back in August, which dirt horses, they do take time, but a lot of trainers use. Like I wouldn't say the major turf preps, preps in New York, preps at Santa Anita, at Del Mar. So, yeah, I don't know whether there's any reason behind it.
Well, I'll say this, and this is just me positing a theory. There's so much money on the line at Kentucky Downs. It requires a specific level of competition. That might not be the kind of meet you're prepping for the Breeders' Cup. That's we got to go in and win this $2 million race kind of affair, right? Whereas if you're prepping in a grade 1, grade 2, that's, a couple $100,000. These are 3 horses. We have See the Fire in the middle. We have Jonquil in front, in the mile, and then Pacific Mission in the back. So we have 3 horses here on the track getting ready for the turf. This is all live, so we're bringing you as much live action as we can. It's the final day we can do it before the Breeders' Cup starts, so we're really trying to bring you every single horse we can see.
Okay, this is the filly that I really wanted to see today. That's the chestnut filly in the middle called See the Fire. She's in the Breeders' Cup filly mid-turf. She's got a pretty rough draw. She's drawn 14 of 14 for Andrew Balding and Ocean Murphy, who writes a lot for Andrew Balding. But I thought there's a filly she's got some form to be effective in this race. She's run against the boys twice, and she got beat by Ombudsman both those times. If Ombudsman came here and was running the Breeders' Cup turf, he'd be a shorter price than Rebels Romance. So her form is good. She was second in the Prix de l'Opera. The only concern for me, you can see her, she's been trace clipped there. You can see the haircut down the middle. Her winter coat is starting to come, which is what happened you know, for many years, the European horses would have a busy summer and they would kind of tail off into the fall and winter months and not regain their form. She's had a busy year, so the question would be, is she going to bring her best here? But you can see she's a good-looking filly, pretty filly. She's by Sea the Stars, and I mean, the post is going to be a problem, but they've got a long way to kind of overcome that.
You know what that haircut reminds me of? It makes me think of Aqueduct in the early 2000s. Yep. Every single horse running on the inner dirt there had that clipping like that because of the winter months, and they would give them that winter haircut.
Yeah, they do. That's exactly what they do. And they clip them down the middle there so they don't sweat too much. She's a filly who I give a long shot look to, although she's 5-1 on the morning line.
You make a good point, though, Simon. I mean, going a mile and 3/8 here at Del Mar, the turn does come up pretty quick, so being in a 14 hole.
As we are taking a look, who's got the...
See the Fire.
Let's See the Fire with
Yep.
the jockey cam? Okay.
Yep.
So we got the on the left, on the right. Apologize. They're going to be heading into the paddock, we believe, as that's the way they're walking right now. And you can see the grandstand and all the preparations the Breeders' Cup has made. It's a great vantage point here, as it's far different than your typical summer or autumn meet days at the races. They have new seating, new stanchions. They have sections that didn't exist before. Of course, the marquee transformed into some high-end seating for the Breeders' Cup itself.
The thing about this filly, they know she likes firm turf.
Right.
They know she likes left-handed turns, so that's another reason why they came to the U.S. And she's got the form to be here. Believe me, I mean, if you're 5-1 in the Breeders' Cup filly mid turf in a field of 14, you belong.
That's such a cool shot with the sun coming up there.
Yeah, it's. I mean, there's nothing like Del Mar, especially in the mornings here with the sun rising over Rancho Santa Fe and getting us all warmed up. It's a little bit chilly here, but we should have beautiful weather. That's why we have the Breeders' Cup in California so often, is you can bank on the weather. And you speak into that firm turf course, Simon. The Euros that they come to California with are the ones they know like a hard turf course.
Correct. Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, the good ground here is different from good ground in the UK. So that's why they've had so much success lately. You know, they bring the right horses. They know how to ship. They've learned the tricks of the trade. It's like Aidan O'Brien. Look, he's been around here a long time. If you look at his Breeders' Cup record chronologically from 1996 to last year, I mean, he had a lot of years where he blanked. And his first win in the Breeders' Cup wasn't on the turf. It was on the dirt with Johannesburg.
Right. That's correct.
So there were a lot of blanks. There were a lot of 4 or 5 year gaps there where he didn't have a win. The last 3, I think since 22 or 23, he's had multiple wins every year, the last 3 or 4 years.
So here is See the Fire on the turf course, going out for a gallop.
She's moving great.
Yeah, just on the outer part there.
Talk about the equipment, the blinkers with the ear coverings here, Simon.
That's
what
just
is
a
that?
hood. I don't think she's got eye cups on. That's just a hood, maybe to muffle the noise a little bit. They just block her ears. I don't think there are any cups on the headpiece there. I saw that when she was jogging back. This is just a hood to maybe reduce the noise and anything that she could hear, maybe spook her or get her a little upset. But she's a pretty mover. I mean, she's galloping very nicely for a horse that, you know, is coming from a totally different environment to a different situation here. She's handling it perfectly.
Joe, let's say you get on the back of this filly for the first time here in preparation for the Breeders' Cup, and they say, you know, why don't you go give her a gallop and just see what it's like. What would you be looking for and trying to feel out?
Just her rhythm, especially, I mean, we're 2 days out, so you don't want to do anything too quick or anything, just go out there. But visually, she looks absolutely perfect. You can see the rider is so level and just you could look right in between her ears. It's not moving at all, and she's going in a really good rhythm. She's not too rank, but not too lazy. I think she's really absolutely perfect. Into the bridle just enough to where she's getting just enough out of her gallop.
Yeah, the rider likes the horse into the bridle a little bit. It takes that element of risk of them, you know, like spooking or looking around. You have a firm hold of their mouth, so you have a little more steering. They're just, you know, they're not used to these lead changes, and I wouldn't aggressively force this filly to make a lead change when you're just trying to do a gallop here, because sometimes if you do, then they can jump in the bridle and take off, and you want to keep her balanced. You don't want her to, you know, knock herself with her other leg. Keep her very balanced. So yeah, she's going around there really, really well for a horse that's in this environment for the, you know, just this week for the first time.
Yeah, and you could tell at the top of the stretch, the rider kind of tried to make her switch leads a little bit, and then she didn't want to, and just leave her alone. But that's what's always amazed me about European horses. I mean, in the States here, we're so cognizant about making them switch leads, turning from home there. I mean, they don't. It's almost like they don't even worry about it.
Yeah, because they don't have oval racetracks. No, there's I think over 50 racetracks, 55 racetracks in England. No two tracks are the same. So there's straightaways, there's left-handed turns, there's up and down. So they don't focus on lead changes much. And
so now we're going to take a look at John Keel for Andrew Balding. The other one has got 3 out there, but I thought it was a very good showing that this colt had at Keeneland in the Turf Mile, finishing a length and a half behind Rhetorical and program training. First start stateside for this colt by Lope de Vega. Another 3-year-old taking on older company in the mile.
yeah, I mean, this horse wouldn't be considered a top-tier miler in England. I mean, competing with good company, second in the French Guineas, maybe just a cut below, but it just goes to show you, flew all the way to Keeneland, and I thought ran a respectable race. The two kind of bad races on this horse's form are when they sprinted. If you look at this horse's record at a mile, the last 2 starts, second by a head in the French Guineas, and then last time out, 2 starts back on the Celebration Mile, beating a filly called Sakara Sands, who's a grade 3 filly, but they're picking it up a little bit. This one's a little quicker. You can see they're just giving this horse a little blowout.
I was going to say, this is a lot different cadence than what we saw earlier on. Yeah, he's definitely striding out really good. Looks fantastic.
Typical Euro, probably Micah Keeneland. Broke slow, sat back, circled the field, 7 wide. And you see that. UK horses break slow. They're not as fast out of the gate as they are in the US because we like speed. They like to sit and wait and sit behind horses. And I think a lot of it, to be honest with you, and you've seen that over the years on this show, my theory was there's no bell in the gate in Europe. So my theory was they broke us, they're naturally slower anyway, but when the bell rung, I always thought the European horse, that beat, they kind of sat back and scared from the bell, and that made them break a little slow sometimes. That's just one of my...
That's interesting. I actually never thought about that.
You ever been on a first-time Euro in the States?
I'm sure for Phil D'Amato, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to think, not off the top of my head, but yeah. Yeah, they all, I mean, to Simon's point, they all kind of stutter step a little bit.
So, Jean Keel, you were mentioning that French Guineas, and that was a great showing at the distance of a mile. And this was probably a race that gave them a lot of encouragement to try the Breeders' Cup.
Oh, for sure. I mean, anytime you're getting placed in a classic, I mean, you're in the top tier horses. And then they went to Ascot and cut back to 6 furlongs for whatever reason that was. You know, they elected to not go to the St. James's Palace, which is usually the natural progression for a mile horse. So a disappointing effort in the Commonwealth, but this was a really good performance behind Henri Matisse.
And Henri Matisse is a top miler. I mean, that's a tremendous animal. So there's no shame in that runner-up finish. And it was a very good race back in May. And you would presume, being a 3-year-old, that we're going to get a stronger, better version of what we saw there.
Oh, for sure. And the fact this horse has had a race in the States, too, helps.
And that's one thing of note, too, the difference between Keeneland and Del Mar. Del Mar on the turf doesn't have the longest stretch. Keeneland, you know, when you turn for home, you have a little less than a quarter mile. Here at Del Mar, it's what, a little less than 3/16. So, I mean, you really have to work out a pretty solid trip to where you're not having to make up, say, 7-8 lengths turning for home because, I mean, you're really going to have to fly.
Now let's start talking Arizona Blaze in the turf sprint, because Arizona Blaze is on the turf course as we speak. We can get this one to you live. True Post 3 for Adrian Murray, coming off of a win at the Curragh, 6-time lifetime winner. He is a millionaire at the age of 3. He's got David Egan in the irons.
I think he's got a good shot here. I mean, and look at him. He's built like a tank. You can see he's a sprinter. I think he's Europe's best chance in this race. And, you know, I think talking to Rishi earlier this morning, I think he feels the same way. Whether it's good enough, I don't know. Trip has a lot to do with this race, but I think the post position is good here. He's drawn to the inside if he can get out of there. And, you know, his last start, he broke and he was close to the lead. The Europeans, you know, you think turf sprints, it's all American. The Europeans have won this race twice, so they can get it done. And Arizona Blaze for Ammo Racing. David Egan, who's the retained rider, he's just got another contract through 2028 to ride for Ammo Racing. A big ownership group. And they're making an impact in the United States now with horses here in California.
I think what's a good advantage too for Arizona Blaze is he was second in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint last year too. He was a big price at 27-1, but just the fact that he's had a run over this turf course before is definitely a good advantage. And you make a great point. drawing inside is so key going 5/8 because you have a little over an eighth of a mile, so positioning is everything. If you're drawing way outside, you have to break sharp and work out a really good trip before that turn.
And Arizona Blaze is fast. I don't know if he's got American type speed, but he definitely has Irish speed. Let's take a look at that Flying Five Stakes, the Group 1 at the Curragh that he just won back on the 14th of September. But he's always there either on or near the lead in these sprint races.
I mean, even last year, he was only 3 1/4 lengths off the pace, which I feel like is really good, especially going 5/8. You don't want to be too far back, but positioning is going to be everything. And you make a great point, Simon. I think the post form is perfect in the 3-hole.
I think having raced here goes a long way because 5 furlong sprint races in Europe, they don't have a turn. They're all straight. I mean, every single one of them is just a flat-out sprint. It looks like an Olympic 100-meter sprint. So the fact he's been here and he's shown the ability to break and navigate that turn as it comes up so quick is key.
Yeah, they're like quarter horse races over there. I gotcha. Is Arizona Blaze, this is live on the track right now. How does he look to you, Joe?
Looks great. He's another one. Just contrary to the other one we just saw, he's just doing something nice and easy. He's getting a little warm. You can see the white on his neck there. He is getting a little warm, and it's not too hot out, but I don't. Again, 2 days out, they're not looking to do anything too quick, just going out for a nice little stroll.
I mean, this is if you put this horse and See the Fire in the Filly Mare Turf, for people that don't follow this sport on a regular basis, you can see the 2 different types of
Complete
physics.
opposite.
Yeah, this horse is built like a sprinter, built like a tank. The Filly See the Fire, much more feminine. Looks like one of those old George Stubbs painting, very light, angular. We say a lot of daylight underneath him. See, this horse doesn't have much daylight underneath him. He's just, he's built like an absolute beast.
Right, to quote Vince Vaughn from Swingers, business class.
Yes, exactly.
Butt's too big. He can't sit coach.
Yep.
Yeah, gotcha. 5-1 in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, Arizona Blaze. And, Team Appleby comes in strong every year. We saw that win percentage earlier, 41% in Breeders' Cup races. And as always, he's bringing runners. He's got a tough bunch this year.
Applebee's Army.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, how would you even put that in perspective? 41% win percentage in a Breeders'.
That is the perspective.
I mean, that's insane.
That is the perspective. That's the bar. We're going to use Appleby as an adverb to describe other people's Breeders' Cup win streaks. Oh, it's Appleby-esque, right? I mean, he is. It's just a terror. And I think a lot of it, Simon, it's the quality of horses. Yes. But when he brings them here, he doesn't just bring them over for fun. He is bringing legit contenders. He never puts a horse in a Breeders' Cup race that's 30-1. They're always first, second, or third choice.
Yeah, I mean, because he's got the best horse in the world, and they're expected to perform. So you're not just going to bring. We're not here just for to show up participation awards here when you're dealing at this level. I tell you a horse that's interesting to me as we look at this group. Yeah, he's got Rebels Romance. El Cordobez is their second string in the Breeders' Cup Turf. Billy Loughnane, he's a young rider that's making a name for himself. I think this horse is a little interesting because he ran third behind Rebel Romance last time out. And Rebel Romance got an easy lead. I don't think that's going to happen this time around. And I think El Cordobez at a big number is interesting, the other Appleby runner. In fact, Charlie said earlier on the show this week, he said, don't forget El Cordobez. He's going to be a good price.
Rishi, what do you have, my friend?
Well, Mike, I was chatting away to Charlie Appleby this morning about a horse that has really piqued my interest all through the season, and that's Diamond Rain. She runs in the Filly and Mare Turf. I remember watching her run at Haydock on her first run of the season back in May, and I was struck by just how much she had grown from 3 to 4 and how large she was. And I know often we don't talk about females and their weight, but I went up and asked Connections, I said, how much does she weigh? They said she's 550 kilos. Now, this morning I was chatting to Charlie as well, and I said, what is she weighing at the moment? He said it's still the same, 550 kilos. And what does the average older filly weigh? And he said to me, Cinderella's Dream, for example, who would be considered in terms of size quite average, who also races in the Filly and Mare Turf, stable companion, she weighs around 490 kilos, which is a huge disproportion between what Cinderella's Dream weighs and what Diamond Rain weighs. And she wouldn't be the most obvious horse that I would have considered for a sharp track like Del Mar. Yet, Charlie must, you guys are just talking about his strike rate. He knows what he's doing when he brings horses over here. And the fact that she's had that spin where she just got touched off by She Feels Pretty on her most recent start, it seems to me that Charlie Appleby has found something, or he's seen something in Diamond Rain to think that even though she's a big, enormous filly, she can cope with the demands of a tight turning track in North America, because just physically, you look at her and you go, no, not for me, thank you.
Physically, she is for me. I like them a little thicker like that, Rishi. But thank you for the thank you for the perspective. He's also right behind us. Did you need a coffee, my friend? We've got Tatiana's coffee shop here making fresh lattes. Okay,
Rishi, real quick, while we got you here, talk a little bit about Billy Loughnane. He's really made a name for himself as a young rider already, and getting support from Godolphin.
I don't know whether you've heard the moniker, but they're using something called Billy the Kid to describe him. In fairness to Billy Loughnane, since he started, his father Mark is a trainer back in the UK, and I remember bumping into Mark at Kempton Racecourse about 2.5 years ago, and Billy was just coming up the ranks, and I said to Mark, I said, what's he like? He said, even though he's my son and I'm biased, he said he's so professional and dedicated already. So when he was 16, 17, he was already into his fitness more than the average 16, 17-year-old apprentice. He was also into his nutrition because he's quite tall. He was really keen on balancing his weight. But above all that, his professional attitude allied to his skill is what's been borne out in the last few years, the last couple of months as well, because he's getting more rides now for Charlie Appleby. A lot of the top trainers, he's a go-to jockey when they have spare rides. And the breadth of trainers that he now rides for is quite extraordinary, considering he's still so young and establishing himself. Obviously, he's closely associated to George Bowie's stable, which is a stable that is just getting better and better every year. But whenever William Buick can't make it for some rides, he rode Rebels Romancer in a Grade 1. So he is a jockey who we're only going to hear more about in years to come. And when the likes of William Buick and Ryan Moore step aside and leave the centre stage, he's definitely a candidate to be front and centre.
On this Diamond Rain, she's a beast. Looks like a specimen.
Well, 550 kilos, that's what Mike Joyce likes. For a horse going around this track, I'd want something a little lighter. But the fact that Charlie thinks she can do it is enough for me.
Hey, I've got a quarter horse background, so the bigger the better, and the more muscled out. She grabs my eye. I'll tell you this, though, Joe, what Rishi was just saying, it's no different in the UK than it is in the US. For a young jockey, success begets success. When you show you can do it, you get more opportunities, and it snowballs. That's why when you're cold, it's really hard to get back going. But once you start going, the success starts following those wins.
And what Rishi was saying, too, the dedication that he started doing everything at such a young age, nutrition, working out. You really have to make it a lifestyle to be successful like he is.
Well, that is Diamond Rain. Great info from Rishi Prasad as we have Rebels Romance on the track. Once again, he's going for history, trying to become a 3-time winner of the Longines Breeders' Cup Turf. One of the most magnificent and well-traveled animals in the world. He's won Group 1s on 9 continents, even though there's only 7 and only 5 of them have racing. Rebels Romance is truly a world traveler and one of the most accomplished horses in this year's Breeders' Cup.
And I think, too, Simon, his pose is perfect with the one holes. Not too far out, but with his style kind of tracking right off, I think that's going to be ideal for him.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the most, if this horse pulls this off, this will be one of the most, I think, sentimental wins of the whole weekend. Inside post, he likes to be close to the lead. He's going to get a little competition up there for the early running, I think. So we'll see how he handles that. You've got Salawi, who was pretty quick in the Canadian International last time out. Redistricting likes to lay a little close, so we'll see. But, you don't have to say anything about this horse. His past performances speak about himself, right?
And, to keep that form like he is, the year after year as a 7-year-old is that's what's so impressive to me.
Sometimes these horses, when they get to this age, they'll only make 3 starts a year. You kind of space it out. You know how you train these old guys. February, April, May, June, July, August, September, and here we are in November. He's still going strong. $14 million he's made.
It's just a tremendous campaign. I don't know that we celebrate him enough. We handed him a trophy for the Champion Turf Mail a year ago, but I honestly don't think that this horse grabs enough headlines for everything he's accomplished and what he really is.
And he's won, look at that, he's won 20 times. And
Crazy.
on the biggest stage. I mean, that's yeah.
No, I feel like as a member of the media, I'm failing Rebels Romance and giving him his just due. Trying to join that rarefied air, becoming only the third horse to ever win 3 Breeders' Cup races, but winning the same one in 3 consecutive years. He's the first one to do it since Goldakova would have done it in 09, 010, or 08, 09, and 10. This horse will be the first to ever do it in this race, the Longines Breeders' Cup Turf.
Yeah, just, I mean, back-to-back would be great. He missed in 23, but, I mean, it's just remarkable to pull off those, any Breeders' Cup race once, let alone 3 times.
El Cordobez was in that Turf Classic behind Rebels Romance. He actually finished 3rd. The stablemates were split by redistricting. Johnny V was aboard that day. Here's a look at El Cordobez moments ago out on the turf course.
This is my price play in this race. And I know he's second to Rebels Romance, but look who he beat in his last start in the UK. Was Wimbledon Hawkeye. Came here and won at Kentucky Downs. We just talked about it. Look at the way he travels. I mean, he's got a good way of going, a little more aggressive and into the bit.
Yeah, you could see compared to Rebels Romance, he's picking it up a lot, but in a good way, too. This is kind of the energy you want to see a couple days before. It's not, I don't think he's going too fast, but he's into the bridle in a good way, and this is the type of energy you want to see before a big race like this.
Like I said, Rebels Romance, don't get me wrong, he got alone on the lead up in Canada. I think that helped his cause. You know, nobody could really play catch up, so I think the tactics are going to be a little different this weekend.
We're going to take a look at El Cordobez in the Sword Dancer. That was his first trip stateside. Grade 1 affair, and he beat Rebel Red, Nation's Pride, in a good bunch in that race. He had the rail. Flavien Prat handled him expertly as he got the victory. Turned for home. It's all over but the crying.
Yeah, he had to work out a good trip on the Flavien, which he did. He was pretty much last at the quarter pole, and then you could see he's finding the seam right there. I read Ortiz was right to his outside, trying to kind of keep him in here, but this is a type of kick that was very impressive to get up by a half a length in the end.
Yeah, I like the kick he showed. I mean, he's not a grinder. He showed a little bit of a kick there and a burst of acceleration. So, yeah, he's my long shot play in the race.
So the term that everyone loves when it comes to turf racing, sometimes it's overused, but is turn of foot. When you talk about turn of foot, is this the kind of horse who can motor home against Grade 1 company like this and pass horses down the stretch?
I think he's got to improve a little bit. You know, I mean, I think if you ask, the Europeans like ask Rishi, he would say, he's a cut below. That's why, most of these horses come from Europe in the summer, and they come over here and win. Wimbledon Hawkeye, Nation's Pride finished 3rd in that race. This horse, El Cordobez, and they wouldn't be considered the top-tier middle-distance turf horses in Europe. That's why they come to the States in the summertime, and they usually win. But I think he's an improving horse. I know he's had plenty of starts. Well, not many. He's only making his 12th start, but I think he's improving at the right time. I mean, that was a good race to me, and I thought he just couldn't play catch-up against a lone pace-sitter in Rebels Romance last time out.
We are going to take a break, but a good look at the Appleby runners. And coming up at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, in the 9 Pacific hour, Mike Rapoli is going to sit down on the set. He has 2 shots at the Breeders' Cup Classic with Fierceness and Mindframe. And it's a toss-up as to who has more talent. Fierceness has the accomplishment. Mindframe, though, scintillating when he hits the track. More from The Breakfast Show after this.
Join a club that has rewards for everyone. I'm talking birthday perks, free daily game, and other stuff that's fun.
Designed for people who love thrills like me and her and him, and with a weekly bonus pack, our thrills are filled up to the brim. Can you thrill me?
Yeah, because this will be like the most amount of pure glee that ya ever gonna get from rewards that start day one. So we're calling all, trillionaires, calling all.
Calling all Thrillionaires. FanDuel Casino.
Longines. Elegance is an attitude.
Zenyatta going to hook to the outside. Meanwhile, it's Colonel John Summerbird in the red cap. And Zenyatta's come to the outside. Zenyatta coming flying on the grandstand side. Gio Ponti on the inside. Summerbird is right there. This is unbelievable. Zenyatta, what a performance. One we'll never forget. Looked impossible.
That race still gives me goosebumps. Zenyatta's 2009 Classic, her first trip against the boys, and she dominated. What an animal, one we will never see again. I mean, she was just unbelievable.
Did you see her after the race? It didn't even look like she ran.
Yeah, well, she only ran 200 yards, right?
She was as great an animal as we've seen this century, without a doubt.
Yep.
For sure.
Let's talk about your favorite Breeders' Cup class. That's my favorite Breeders' Cup race ever, the 2009 Classic. Joaquin likes the 97 Classic. I'm still not convinced. I'm sorry, the 87 Classic. I'm still not convinced that Joe rode that turf sprint in 2009. And then Simon had something to do with the 95 Classic. But your favorite Breeders' Cup race, join the conversation on X. How about the 88 Breeders' Cup turf? Great communicator. Okay, 6'3" Exacta Box. Dude, do you bet 6'3" Exacta Boxes all day? That would be awesome, actually. Easy answer for me. 2013 Breeders' Cup Classic, where the brilliant Gary Stevens got Mucho Macho Man honed by a micron to win me the pick six. Yeah, Greg? As the 91 Breeders' Cup Classic, Black Tie Affair beating Twilight Agenda. The reason being my dad hit the Exacta. And now that my dad has passed, I have come to appreciate the father-son moments that we had at the races so much more. Now that's heartwarming. Thank you, Cliff, for sharing that. Fidel Lopez, well, Flightline, that was a breathtaking moment, and one of those moments that you almost can't quantify. You just have to watch over and over again to talk about.
Yeah, I forgot he got that. You could see him getting floated out there, turning for home. But what a racehorse he was.
My favorite, not my favorite, but one of my favorite Bob Baffert quotes ever was after Flightline won by like 175 lengths. Country Grammar finished second, and Bob Baffert comes down and goes, "Hey, my horse thinks he won." It was great. So funny. All right, let's check in with Andy Biancone as she caught up with the Hall of Famer Bill Mott.
Well, I know we have lots to look forward to from the Bill Mott team here at the Breeders' Cup, but also lots to look forward to overseas. Bill Mott and Parchman Party look to make history with the first American horse running in the Melbourne Cup. Bill, walk us through the decision to go to the Melbourne Cup and how he got there, etc.
Well, we had, found out that he's a real staying horse, and he's done real well in some of the very distance races, 1.5 mile, 1 3/4 races. On the dirt. He won a stake in New York that was originally scheduled for the turf. It was taken off, and he won very easily. However, in that particular race, it was a win-and-you're-in race for the Melbourne Cup. And even though they ran our race on the dirt, he was still got the privilege of the win-and-you're-in status. So the owners wanted to give it a try. And they're very excited about it, and it's been quite a process to get him there. We had to ship from New York. We had to go into to England. We had to do over 2 weeks quarantine in Newmarket, and then from there we had to fly to Australia, and then we've been in quarantine there, but always allowed to train from the quarantine center that we were in. So he's had works in England. He's already had a couple breezes in Australia. He breezed actually his last breeze. They put the monitors on him that monitor everything, the speed that they're going in and the heart rate and all that sort of thing. And he was, 5 furlongs in a minute, and which looked and sounded like a very good breeze. I'm kind of training him long distance, so to speak. But we've got Joe Robinson over there from the farm, from Pin Oak Farm, and she's handling everything. She's getting on the horse, and she's negotiating all the trials that we have to go through to get him there. They're very strict on the veterinarian inspections. We've gone through 2 CT scans. He has to be approved. They come and they trot him up every day or every other day. They watch him jog and they report on that. So far we've passed all the tests, and we got just a few days to go, and things are good. Naturally we would really feel good about it if the race were run on the dirt. It's run on the turf, and although he's worked very well on the grass, we're very pleased with the way he's moved and carried himself on the turf, but he's never won a race on the turf. So, consequently, because of that, we're one of the lightweights. We're the lightest weight in the race, 114 pounds. So he'll be getting, 15, 20 pounds from some of these horses, which could potentially make a difference.
I'm a big fan of Parchment Party and quite a good friend of Joe Robinson, so I've been following his journey to Newmarket, to Australia. In terms of his training at Newmarket in Australia, what does that look like for him?
Well, it's I've seen videos and that sort of thing, but I think we've been able to maintain a good amount of fitness with what we were able to do. I mean, we were, different training scenarios. Of course, when we were in Newmarket, we're going up the hill and up the gallops, straightaways. And so Parchment Party has had to adapt, and we've had to adapt a little bit from what our traditional training is here, on an oval track. But he's taken it well. Pictures of him look good. He looks good. He seems to be happy. And so far we haven't had any setbacks.
And how would you say the course in Melbourne differs from an American course?
I can't tell you that much about it. It's a 2-mile race, so it's really a race for a real stayer, and our horse is a true stayer, without a doubt. It's just I think it's all a matter of the surface and how he gets along with it. They tell me that they call for a little bit of rain over there, which will not be in our favor. I think we were hoping that the turf is going to be real firm, and it would probably emulate maybe a more of a dirt track or a slop. He's won in the slop before. So, I think for us, we would prefer a real firm ground. But, we'll just have to roll with the punches and see what happens.
Bill, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck to you, the Pin Oak team, and Parchment Party in the Melbourne Cup.
Thank you.
One of the things that's so attractive about horse racing at all levels, whether you're a jockey, whether you're a horse player, whether you're a trainer, you'll never learn it all. You'll never. I mean, as a gambling game, for instance, you're always going to learn something else. It's like playing golf. You're never going to shoot a perfect round. That's a great example. And he's like, well, Bill's like, I don't know. There's a Hall of Famer who's forgotten more about horse racing than most people ever know in their lifetime. And yet there's still that new frontier for him to conquer.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a big challenge, but what a story that would be. I mean, the unfortunate circumstances of, missing out on the Classic with Sovereignty, and here 72 hours later, he's got a chance in the Melbourne Cup. You don't know what to expect, but just listening to that interview, what the horses have to go through. I got a message from Clifford Barry. He's the manager of Pin Oak Farm that owns Parchment Party. He said this morning they've flown all this way, and this morning he just got the okay that they passed all the tests. They CT scan them, they do all kinds of tests, heart monitors, they monitor through their workout, so he's passed all that. All they're waiting for now is the barrier draw. I think it's 22 or 24 horses line up in the Melbourne Cup. Massive field.
Right, and that's why Churchill Downs had to buy their starting gate for the 20-horse field in the Derby from Australia. Yeah. They're used to building them that. That's the kind of field they'll have.
Yeah, that is so crazy. I can't believe they have to go through all that.
Yes, they're very strict with the testing, and I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it'd be tremendous. Bill's obviously not going down there.
Would you get back in the saddle to ride the Melbourne Cup?
Probably.
That's truly one of the great festivals of racing. We have an update in the distaff, Simon, as there's a late defection.
Yeah, Scottish Lassie. David Grennan reporting that Scottish Lassie is now out of the distaff. So unfortunately, Scottish Lassie is a scratch. She was a little off in her right front after training per her trainer, Jorge Abreu. So she's probably not 100% sound, and they'll look into that, and she will not participate.
Thank you, David, as he was the first one to break that today. Let's get back to the backstretch with Michelle Yu.
It's so much fun to just run in to all kinds of great horses. We got the Baffert crew out. I feel like we haven't seen a lot of them. So here's Nysos with his little tongue out. Have you guys already gone out today, or are you going out? Going in 5 minutes. So we're doing the little warm-up here. And we haven't seen Brant. The juvenile is going to be East Coast versus West Coast versus West Coast. And Brant's the unknown factor. He won the Grade 1 Del Mar Futurity here, but he hasn't been the 2 turns. So we'll see if he can't get that $3 million son of Gunrunner here. Has been nothing short of spectacular on the track, and I'm excited to see him go out today. Also, if we come back this way, Bottle of Rouge is down there. Grade 1 winner for Bob and Jill Baffert. She's the gray horse at the end with Morgan on. There's Seismic Beauty. Hey, my racehorse people, I know you want to see a nice clip of your filly. She's going in the Distaff, probable favorite, coming off a win in the Clement Hirsch. And then here comes Bottle of Rouge. This filly is actually very, very funny. She's named after a Harry Styles song, Not a Bottle of Wine, even though she's by Vino Rosso. She likes to talk, huh? Look at her. She's like, are you talking to me? She's like, yes, please talk to me. Please show me. Morgan on there right now. So we'll watch the Bob Bafferts go out, but nice to get up close and personal with them here in the walking ring too. Oh, and of course, you got to get the White Abarrio, right? Former Breeders' Cup Classic winner. He's going to be facing off with Nysos in the dirt mile. And you could get a worse horse for a photobomb, right?
Yeah, White Abarrio really is eye-catching because of that. Just how gray. I mean, he's named White Abarrio for a reason. He is striking to see. And that's another Breeders' Cup Classic winner we have running in the Breeders' Cup this weekend.
Yeah, remarkable to think that. Remarkable to think Michelle has spent a lot of time there going through the Baffert runners. The most he's ever run in the Breeders' Cup this year. Hard to believe. 13 runners. That's the 5th all-time. Lucas had 17. We've had a bunch of trainers, Aidan O'Brien, Said Bin Surul with 14. Bob Baffert bringing 13 here. Obviously, he's doubled up in a lot of races. We're used to seeing that in California, so the chances of him winning multiple races are a little tougher, but he's got some good shots this year. There's no question about it.
And I think the advantage for Bob, too, is a lot of those horses had prep races here already.
Yeah.
They've run here this summer, and they were training up at Santa Anita. It was only a less than 2-hour van ride down. They didn't have to come, from another country or from the East Coast. So that's definitely very advantageous.
I also want to give a shout out to Milton's Deli here in Del Mar for feeding our crew every morning at 4:30 a.m. when they have to set up the cameras, the cables, getting the truck revved up, the microphones. It is a monumental task each and every day just to get us on the air, and we need to feed those boys. And thank you to Milton's for doing that. We've got Mike Rapoli coming up in the 9 o'clock hour, the noon hour if you're on the East Coast, with 2 shots in the classic Mindframe and Fierceness.
At Calumet Farm, we're proud to offer proven stallions to fit every breeder's needs. With over 72 million in progeny winnings on dirt and turf, our diverse roster is producing the champions of today and tomorrow. Calumet Farm, a legacy reborn.
Douglas trusts Prevagen for his brain, and this is his story.
I'm Douglas, and I'm from Chicago. I was looking for something specifically for my brain. That's when I chose Prevagen. And the confidence I've received from Prevagen allows me to continue to do those things that I love. I have been taking Prevagen for more than 9 years, and it really works for me.
Prevagen has been the #1 selling brain supplement nationwide for over 10 years.
A John Deere 3 Series tractor lets you tackle those bigger jobs with simple, intuitive controls that put the power in your hands and quick connect solutions to swap implements quickly with ease. From rotary cutter to rotary tiller to front loader. take on all your property's biggest challenges. You just have to get in the seat. John Deere is the official partner of the Breeders' Cup World Championships.
NetJets is more. And with NetJets, you get more. More exceptional service. Heightened safety standards. And anytime access to where you're needed most. Do more and miss less with NetJets.
The Breeders' Cup is pleased to announce the Champions Give Back campaign, which is running right now. It's fundraising and awareness for the Breeders' Cup charities, including their 5 pillars: thoroughbred aftercare, jockey health and wellness, backstretch and industry workers, equine research, and other impactful community initiatives. $1 from every official Breeders' Cup cocktail, that's the Tory Cup featuring Maker's Mark Bourbon and the Garland featuring Chopin Vodka, will be donated to Breeders' Cup charities. Also, now through the Breeders' Cup World Championships, that's tomorrow, every dollar you give to Breeders' Cup charities will be matched up to $50,000 by philanthropist and racehorse owner Ken Fryrick. Together, we can fund vital programs in thoroughbred aftercare, jockey health, industry work support, and equine research. Make your donation count double. Go to breederscup.com/charities or text BCWC to 855-800-4975. We'll be back with more on The Breakfast Show right after this.
They come on for the finish in the Pilgrim Stakes. Annapolis by a head.
It is Annapolis in front. It is Annapolis to win the Coolmore Turf Mile.
FanDuel held a shooting contest to promote its new MySpend tool. MySpend makes it easy to view your deposit and bet history all in one place. Because betting without knowing how much you're spending is like shooting in the dark. See the whole picture. Make FanDuel's MySpend tool part of your system and stop shooting in the dark.
Calling all trillionaires. Come and join a club that has rewards for everyone. I'm talking birthday perks, free daily game, and other stuff that's fun.
Designed for people who love thrills like me and her and him, and with the weekly bonus back, our thrills are filled up to the brim.
So we're calling all trillionaires, calling all trillionaires,
Calling all trillionaires. FanDuel Casino.
End of the stretch, and Sierra Leone has circled up on the outside to take the lead. Fierceness battles on second. Newgate behind them. Forever Young on the far outside. Sierra Leone. Fierceness digs in. Newgate. Forever Young. Sierra Leone close to home. Sierra Leone does it in the Breeders' Cup Classic.
We we have 2 Breeders' Cup Classic winners running on the Breeders' Cup card. I'm not sure that's ever happened before. Sierra Leone trying to repeat in the Classic, being the first and only the second horse to do so since Tiz Now. There's a look at him on the racetrack right now.
Yeah, he's looked good all week, galloping out there. Kind of puts his head down, gets in a really, really good rhythm, and yeah, looking to do it back to back.
There's a good look at him on the racetrack. Of course, the defending Breeders' Cup Classic champion is now second choice on the morning line at odds of 7-2. The horse he beat last year is the morning line favorite in Fierceness. These two have had a fierce rivalry throughout their campaigns, both as 3-year-olds and as 4-year-olds. And it's hard to talk about one and not talk about the other, Simon.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they've been taking on each other quite some time. And Fierceness had the upper hand of Sierra Leone. The problem is Sierra Leone just picked to run his best race in the biggest race. And a lot of that had to do with the pace. I said this earlier this week, he needs pace to close into. He's a deep closer. He's got that deep grinding running style, you know, late. And he got that pace last year, 44. Anytime they go 48, 49, the table is not set for him. It's not quick enough up front. The field doesn't come back to him. That's why the pacemaker's in there. It's going to stretch the field out a little bit and just ensure an honest pace.
I love the rivalries, though. You have a rivalry between Sierra Leone and Fierceness. We had that rivalry of sovereignty and journalism, but with sovereignty out, let's not forget, Baeza was chasing journalism and sovereignty around the racetrack. He would love to turn the tables on that. So you have a little 3-year-old rivalry, a little 4-year-old rivalry. They're all trying to win the race. You have the 3-year-old class against the 4-year-old class in general. You've got a lot of storylines and a lot of ins and outs in this year's class.
Well, I think that's one of the problems with our sport trying to sell it is, you know, the names, people don't, they're not familiar with the horses. I mean, obviously the greatest rivalry in horse racing was in Easy Goer Sunday Silence. This year we've had it. We've had horses stay in training. Mike Rapoli keeping Fierceness around. They could have easily retired him.
Absolutely, yeah.
So the fact that he comes back with last year's Breeders' Cup Classic winner, I mean, hats off to him, and it's a true testament. And to your point, we've got names now that people are familiar with, and they're all taking each other on in this race.
And going back to the 3-year-olds too, not only Baeza, who's improved just about every single start, Nevada Beach is, I mean, he's only run 4 times, but literally every single race on the number scale, he's improved.
Well, that's the thing. If you're spreading in the Classic, do you want to leave the lightly raced Bob Baffert horse off? No,
yeah, no,
you can't.
That's the thing. There is Baeza. You know, we say any other year journalism would have been a Triple Crown winner. I mean, any other year, Baeza
would have.
Yeah. I mean, it's been so clearly sovereignty, journalism, Baeza in that pecking order, and then everybody else in this 3-year-old class.
He's another horse too. I know all week we've talked about demeanor, how horses handle themselves, whether they're kind of ranking the bridle or laid back. He's another one that his demeanor is so, like, look at him just standing there, has his ears up, could care less about horses going behind him and everything. And I love seeing his progression from when he first started back in December of last year on the turf, and then like we were talking about, just every single race he's just progressed so nicely.
Just a different training style from John Sheriff's. Small barn, doesn't have huge numbers, therefore he spends a lot of time with each and every individual, and it all culminated with a win in the Pennsylvania Derby. But like we said, when journalism got away from sovereignty, he won the Preakness. When Baeza got away from sovereignty and journalism, he won the Pennsylvania Derby. Both those horses deserved to have their moment, and they did it when they got away from their respective rivals. So I think he's improving at the right time. This was a good move. John Sheriff's trains this way. I mean, not often would you see many trainers debut a horse 2 turns on the grass here that you think is a potential Kentucky Derby horse. But that's just John. You want to get a race into him. And I said this before, a lot of trainers now, debut horses on the grass. It's a kind of introduction to their first start.
I bet sovereignty in the Derby, and I had a great day wagering because of him. And yet I jumped ship onto Baeza for the Belmont because that's how highly I thought of his performance in the Derby. That's how highly I thought of John Sheriff's ability to keep a horse on the improve. And I still think the horse stepped forward. He just ran into a much better animal in sovereignty that day.
I did the exact same thing in the Belmont. And we watched him that week too, Simon. I mean, it's not like he wasn't training good. He was training like a monster.
The form is just so solid, though. I mean, how often, do you see the form of the Kentucky Derby come right back and get repeated in the Belmont? It's very rare. It's very rare.
If you just take that turf race out, I mean, look at it. He's never been worse than third in some of the biggest 3-year-old races.
So here is a look at Sierra Leone and Baeza. Both of these horses will be moving late. These are 2 of the closers in this year's Breeders' Cup Classic. If the pace is hot it's going to help both of these runners out. You have Hector Berrios in the irons of one, Flavien Prat in the irons of the other. They might say advantage Sierra Leone because Flavien Prat is the best rider in the world right now. But I will say this, watching Hector Berrios day in and day out in California for the last year.
He's good.
Oh, he's very good. He is, I think he might be the most underrated rider in the nation right now. His ability on the turf, his ability on the main track, he can do anything. He never loses his cool. He makes the right decision almost every single time.
What impresses me so much too, riding here last summer, and I think he was here about 7 or 8 years ago.
Correct.
Too. He gets horses to settle
right.
so good. I've seen horses that a lot of times are ranked, and you would think they're going to get kind of in an awkward spot. He gets them to settle so nice, and like loose rein, it's not like he has to really take a big hold of them or whatever. Great hands, and whether it's turf, dirt, you're right, Mike. Very, very underrated, but really, really good.
I mean, Sierra Leone has looked tremendous all week, and obviously.
And there's Baeza looking on like, I can do that. Yeah. I'm not impressed.
That's
you want to see me? I'll do that.
He'll stand and he'll do a lot of that stuff with this, so they'll be able to stall for quite some time. But Sierra Leone, look, everybody's chances went up exponentially with the exit of Sovereignty, but I think Sierra Leone's in particular because the way I looked at the race, I thought Sovereignty and Sierra Leone were the two best closers in the race, hands down. And Sovereignty was better than Sierra Leone. So now that leaves this horse, to me, as the best closer in the race, and Baeza right behind him. So,
well, I think what made Sovereignty great was that, yeah, he's a great closer, but he developed a high cruising speed throughout his racing campaign to the point where he could sit much, much closer. He doesn't give himself as much to do as Sierra Leone does. And, oh, by the way, he probably kicks home better, too. Yeah. That's what made him so good.
He has such a beautiful way of going. You could see his exercise rider has his hands way, way back there. He doesn't have to pull or do anything. I mean, this is exactly how you want to see a horse gallop.
One of those few instances, he was a $2.3 million yearling where he's made his money up. I mean, a lot of the time we're talking about the other way around. I mean, he's made $7 million.
Well, the other thing about Sierra Leone, too, is that, you know, you're talking about how he's such a good mover. The heavyweight division in horse racing in this country is older horses going 1.25 miles. It is 1.25 miles. That 10 furlongs is the distance. He is a 1.25 mile horse. Sovereignty is a 1.25 mile horse. You have to be a true 1.25 mile horse. And you can make the argument that he is as good at 1.25 miles as anybody else in the world on this surface.
Well, not only that, if you look at Sierra Leone, I feel like every horse, they'll have a bad day, not so good day. His bad day is running third. Yeah. It's not like he said his worst races is when he's run third. He's never been worse than that.
There's a look at him. Just taking a look at Sierra Leone galloping, and then Baeza looking on, as we saw moments ago, as the 3-year-old is going to start. Well, he's not doing anything. He's just kind of sitting there chilling.
That's what I mean. Look at his demeanor. I mean, he's just chilling.
So John Sheriff's, though, you know, he's not a hustle out of the barn, get around the racetrack, get back in. Treats them all like individuals.
He is patient. He takes his time with them. And Baeza, taken after his trainer, looks very patient as we check in with Rishi Prasad.
Yeah, it's a very busy morning down at the schooling gates here. The horses, a lot of the Europeans getting a chance to go through the gates. Rafe Beckett is down here supervising his 2 runners, Kirat, who runs in the mile, the chestnut, and Amalok, who runs in the turf, an unexposed 3-year-old who was really progressive earlier in the year. Connections took him to Ireland to have a run over further, 1.6 miles. He drops back to 1.5 miles. I think he's a really interesting contender in the turf because we like a 3-year-old improving at this time of the year. We mentioned about Wimbledon Hawkeye earlier on. Just don't know how good this horse is. This is Kirat, the chestnut, just about to go forward. Now, he caused a 150-to-1 shock when he won the Sussex Stakes. On that occasion, he made the running. He's got an awkwardish draw in the Breeders' Cup Mile, and he's going to have a little spin through. He's a horse who, he's one of 2 in the race for the Juddmonte team. John Quill, Colin Keane will be on John Quill, and Ross Orion will ride Kirat. But he's just proving a little bit awkward to go forward. But this is a great experience. Funny enough, I was just watching a couple of the Europeans going through, hearing the bell coming out the gate. And earlier on, She's Quality went in and came out. She was good. And when another of the Europeans, Ardizia, went in, came out, had a little look around coming out of the gates. But let's see how Kirat handles it. in a second they'll let him have a go through. Very, very rare for the European horses to hear a little bit of a noise and a bell, but Kirat's now had a bit of experience out of that. If I'd said to a lot of people at the start of the season Kirat would be a Group 1 winner, a lot of people would have been surprised, but he did take his chance. Of course, Rafe has got one more horse to see go through, and that's Amalok, who is... Ross Orion is on board Amalok, just going forward now. He won the King Edward at Royal Ascot. He beat a horse of Johnny Mertes on that occasion, a horse called Zaran, who had quite a good reputation, but Amalok saw him off comfortably on that day. And then he was behind Al Riffa in Ireland. And I think, thinking about the ground, obviously when he won in Royal Ascot, it was very quick ground on that occasion. So I think, although some people might have a question mark about what suits him best, I think the quick ground's not going to be a concern for him. And he's in. Ross Orion is aboard. So Ross Orion, principal rider for Rafe Beckett. Amalok is out. A little bit sluggish, but sets about once that's done. Might try and grab a... Rafe, have you got a second to chat, or are you busy? Rafe Beckett, of course, had Starlust win last year. Caused a bit of a shock in the sprint. And he's had another very good season. He's actually got a lot of good 2-year-olds that we can look forward to for 2026. He's had a good season again. He was telling us about Kinross, who was a bit unlucky in the Breeders' Cup Mile here a few years ago behind Modern Games, and he's just watching his two horses going right around the track, making sure that they finish up nice and comfortable and that there are no issues with them. I think at the start of today's show I mentioned to everyone that we've seen how precarious things can be here at the Breeders' Cup. Even a horse of Sovereignty's ilk sadly picking up a temperature. You just want to get through this week safe and sound without any issues, and this is the final minutes before kickoff, or before the start of proceedings, and we'll try and find out just a little bit more about these horses. We have seen, I mentioned She's Quality, trainer Jack Davison was here overseeing proceedings. Jack Davison will be having his first ever Breeders' Cup run. It's been a dream of his. I had a brief word to him as he wandered past, very excited about it. And she's got a decent chance, She's Quality, in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint on Saturday. She's a horse of real quality, as her name suggests, but competing in a lot of good races without any luck. She's finished placed in so many Group 1s this season, and I'm hoping that she'll be able to show her best form. Just keeping an eye on, so difficult with the sunshine here to make sure where everyone is, but as soon as Rafe's horses can just ease off, we'll be able to grab a word with him about those two. He was telling us about, whilst waiting for the horses to come down, about Kinross retiring, or what a fabulous horse he was. Won a couple of Group 1 races for him, and ran a mighty race in the Breeders' Cup Mile a few years ago, but sadly his racing days have come to an end. But however, Rafe is here with a couple more. He's just observing the horses just easing off. Amalok, I think he's just coming to a halt, along with his other runner Kirat. Here is Amalok and Ross Orion. All happy, Rafe? No issues?
Looked okay to me, Rishi. Yeah.
So just tell me, when the horses come out the gates here with this experience, just a little bit about what you want to see.
Want to see them stand up inside with a handler in. Obviously, we don't have handlers in Europe, so that's kind of important. And they both look to do that pretty well. Amalok was a little bit weaved around a little bit in there, but he'll be fine next on Saturday.
I mentioned about the ground for Amalok because some people might point out that he ran well in Ireland and might do well with a bit of juice in the ground, but the Ascot win was on really quick ground. You must be pretty confident about him handling it here.
Yeah, he took a while to get over Ascot, but I'd be pretty confident now that he's a hardier campaigner now, so I'd be pretty hopeful that he'll handle it well.
Kirat, I was just reminding our viewers, 150-1 winner of the Sussex Stakes, caught a few people out by surprise. What are you expecting from him since the Sussex Stakes? What do you make of the runs after that?
Well, he came back with a small issue, muscular issue after York, And then obviously he needed the run in France when he had a penalty to give away in the Group 2. So always felt this might really suit him. You know, he is best on a turning track, obviously, and it was well worth the shot.
Finally, Rev, can I just ask you about the horse that your cap remembers, Kinross, who I was saying to you, I'm unlucky in the Breeders' Cup Mile here, and you said with an average draw.
Yeah, with an average draw, he's only beaten half a length. With an average draw, he'd have been tough to beat. He was a special horse. We won't have another like him, Rishi. You could train for another 50 years and not have another like him to take his racing as he did. And that autumn of 2022 was just extraordinary. It really was. So he was a joy every day. He was a joy to train, and we'll miss him.
Lovely memories for him. And hopefully Amalok and Kirat take some steps in following in his path. Best of luck.
Thanks very much. Thanks.
Thank you, Ralph, and thank you, Rishi. A good shot of his horses getting in and out of the starting gate. And he mentioned something you were talking about, Simon, the bell. When they were the horses, some of these horses, they're not used to hearing that bell as they go through.
The bell and the assistant starter, the handler in the stall. They don't have them in Europe, so you need to practice that, because horses, when someone's standing in the gate like that, they'll turn their head and start looking up rather than looking down the racetrack.
There is Aiden's Army out on the racetrack this morning. And you can see the crowds have gotten progressively bigger throughout the week, but we've got a lot of people on the apron trying to catch a glimpse of all these great runners from Ballydoyle as they get out for their morning track work.
Yeah, you could see even this morning right by the set, everybody's coming by. Come see the great Mike Joyce saying hello.
Yeah, we haven't had one lady come up and say she wanted her money back for all those times she bet Joe Talamo.
Yeah, that's not happening.
They are making their way around the outer thing. That you can see, that's the breakfast marquee on the left there, and it is standing room only out on the deck as everyone has pressed against the rail to see the Breeders' Cup horses out in full force. The final day of the breakfast shows and the breakfast at the Breeders' Cup, as tomorrow the World Championships begin in earnest. And don't forget, we have racing this afternoon. It is the opening day of the Bing Crosby meet here at Del Mar. Live racing action in Southern California this afternoon. We'll have all that live coverage here on FanDuel TV. But right now you can see Aiden's Army as they head to the track. What are they going to do today, you suspect, Simon?
I think they're going to jog one time the wrong way, looks like, and then they'll probably go ahead and turn around and just gallop once around too. But I think they're going to, they have to jog the whole way around here now. It doesn't look like the whole group's out, right? Are we missing?
I was going to say, it looks a little light.
And there's Rishi as he's making his way. Rishi, you've got a nice little view there as they walk right by you.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I've just seen the Lion in Winter doing what he does, just a little bit warm. Start, he's an impressive looking horse. Mini Hawk, nice and relaxed. There's Precise also looking completely at ease, going about her work. And then we've got a couple from the Donica and Joseph O'Brien's teams. I quite like Havana Anna. She's got the 306 number cloth on. I think she'll run quite well in the juvenile turf sprint. But Lion in Winter is doing what we expect him to do, which is get a little bit warm. But actually, I have to say that watching him through the week, he's behaving a bit better than I remember him. Certainly his last run at Asker, he got a bit worked up, got really sweaty. But he's a horse who's seemingly really settled in quite nicely here. And as much as I like Notable Speech in the Breeders' Cup Mile on the turf, I am worried about maybe the Lion in Winter is blossoming at this time of the year. Maybe he's just settling into his work with a little bit more joy.
Well, I mean, just because he's a Lion in Winter, that doesn't mean he was a Burrow this summer. I mean, he's just turning into himself is what he's doing. You like that line, Joe?
That was good.
Yeah, okay.
You got to put that in the book when you make it.
Yeah, the book that no one will read, the coffee table book that'll never get creased. There's Gstaad. Gstaad? Is that how you say it?
Yeah,
Gstaad.
You're right.
Okay.
Yep.
9 to 5.
Good-looking horse. Rishi touched on that. He's a serious runner.
He doesn't look like a juvenile to me. I mean, that's a large animal. He's not out there prancing like a 2-year-old. He's out there. I mean, he's a big dude. There's Brussels. That looks like a 2-year-old. The turf sprinter. He's a little more slight, as you can see. 8 to 1 on the morning line for the juvenile turf sprint. And here she is, Mini Hawk, your favorite in the in the turf at 8-5.
Yeah, she looks great. She's a very classy individual, and the word is that, you know, she's probably going to come back next year and stay in training next year with another tilt at the arc. Listening to an interview with MB Magnier earlier this week. So, I mean, that would be great to see her return in Europe and maybe make a repeat effort at trying to get the arc done. She's a very good-looking filly. I mean, on form, she's a standard. Aiden's got Gestalt, Precise, the favorites in the juvenile turf, juvenile fillies turf. They got awful post positions. True Love, of course, in the Breeders' Cup juvenile turf sprint as well.
7-2 in the juvenile turf sprint. The 2-year-olds that Aiden's bringing in this year, I mean, he always comes in with good horses, but I feel like he's especially stacked with the juveniles.
Yeah, like I said, the last 3 years, he's been multiple win years since 2022 at the Breeders' Cup. And I mean, yeah, he could sweep both juvenile turf races.
That's a brutal post.
Oh, yep.
So
14, right?
why is it? Tell us why, though, from the perspective of jockey.
Both of them, Precise and Gestalt.
So even even going 5/8 or a mile at Delmore, the turn comes up so quick, and obviously you need to get over to save ground. A lot of times when you're that far out, when you break out the gate, you kind of want to be somewhat aggressive to get over, but if you can't get over, you have to take back. And then a lot of times, let's say the plan is to, okay, let's stay 4 or 5 lengths off the lead. You might end up 8 or 9 lengths off just because you're trying to you end up taking back more than you want to. That way you're not 4, 5, 6 wide around the first turn. So that's why an outside post is such a disadvantage going 5/8 of a mile or a mile, just because you end up further back a lot of times because you're trying to not forfeit that loss of ground.
There's North Coast, another one in the juvenile turf, but Precise, the horse we were speaking of, the morning line favorite, post 13, going that turf mile for the juvenile turf. There's Queen of Hawaii for Joseph O'Brien in the juvenile fillies turf.
Post Joseph, Donica, and Aiden all represented this year. 12-1 on this horse, drew post 2.
And that's Havana Anna, however you want to say it, for Donica O'Brien. This is the one that Rishi was very keen on and still is in the juvenile turf sprint.
Drew post 8. She was second behind True Love, so father and son taking each other on there. I mean, she ran a huge race in the Cheaply Park.
We have not mentioned Valentina much at all this week. She's a 30-1 shot for Donica O'Brien in the juvenile fillies turf, but I didn't feel like she was without a chance in this one. She must have some ability. She's raced 5 times. She only has the 1 win under her belt, but she ran a good second in Deauville 2-back.
Yeah, that was in a Group 3. She's on form. She's a cut below some of these. She's got to improve. She's owned by Medallion Racing. If you know, that's a partnership group that, you know, based out of here and associated with TaylorMade Farms. So they'll be well represented.
And there is Atsila in the filly and mare turf, another one for Donica.
Yeah, she drew to the inside. Yeah, post position 3. So Atsila, she's coming off a subpar performance in the Sun Chariot. She won a couple of races this year, but it was early on, minor races. She's really, I think, really got to improve a lot to be effective here. She's been well beaten by Cinderella's Dream.
What a great shot this is.
It's breathtaking. And the contingent from Ballydoyle every year when it comes into the States, it makes such a visual impression on all the competition. And I don't know how well intimidation works in your sport, Joe Talamo, but I would imagine this has some effect on the competition.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm just so impressed how well behaved they are to be able to stay right behind.
It's a confluence of talent and skill to be Aiden O'Brien. And obviously the first and foremost talent is the horsemanship. We talked about his ability to comport himself to the media, the attitude, the demeanor that he has, and how it all plays in to the success and having the most stressful training job in the world. But he's the most successful trainer in the world, and for good reason. And you're seeing one of those reasons right now.
You are, but this is what they do normally. As I get distracted, we've got a lot of action behind us. Andy Biancone just came behind on Lenny Lou. She's walking around the paddock and about to go out. It's getting pretty busy in here right now.
Yeah, it is.
Gun song for trainer Mark Hennick behind us as we continue to look at Aiden O'Brien's.
I don't think we've given Andy enough credit too for having to do 2 jobs. She has a horse in the Breeders' Cup, and she's running around with a microphone like her name's Dave Weaver all weekend, and she's got work to do. Like she's got to take care of Lenny Lou. She's got to get this horse prepared for the biggest race of Lenny Lou's career.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. A lot going on. And, she's been busy. I mean, Lenny Lou came in when she shipped in around 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, and she was out at it at 5 the next morning.
So we have, look at all this action behind us. So we've got schoolers, we've got fans, we've got Breeders' Cup horses, connections, and they're all coming by the paddock to say hello.
B.
There's Andy Biancone. Hi, Andy. Everyone's getting a good look at the Breeders' Cup contenders.
Konnichiwa.
That's Forever Young. Yeah. That's our old buddy. Don't you feel like he's telling us he's going to win?
I know, every morning.
Every morning.
Stops by every morning.
Comes by to let us know. Hey,
we need one of those jackets, though.
I'm on it. Coming up, Mike Rapoli in the 9 o'clock hour with 2 shots at Classic Glory, and he's going to have plenty to say about it. We return on the breakfast shows after this.
I have 52,000 starts in my life. I've never seen one that could take as much as he did early and continue to improve.
And it is Godite.
He's strong, he's attractive.
And he's going to win the hopeful.
He's extremely smooth and fluid.
Godite is a tough customer here as they come on for the finish.
How sound he is.
Godite got the jump.
Consistent mentally, physically.
He will defeat Elite Power in the Forgo.
Complete package.
Calling all!
Calling all!
Calling all, calling all, Thrillionaires, calling all, calling all, calling all, Thrillionaires. Come and join a club that has rewards for everyone. I'm talking birthday perks, free daily game, and other stuff that's fun.
Designed for people who love thrills like me and her and him, and with a weekly bonus pack, our thrills are filled up to the brim. Can you thrill me?
Yeah, because it's will be. Like the most amount of pure glee that ya ever gonna get from rewards that start day one. So we're calling all, calling all, calling all, Thrillionaires, calling all. Thrillionaires, calling all, calling all, calling all, Thrillionaires, calling all, calling all.
Calling all Thrillionaires. FanDuel Casino.
You might take something for your heart. You might get support for your joints. Or even use something for your digestion. So why wouldn't you take something for the most important part of you? Your brain. People all over the country take Prevagen for their brain. In fact, Prevagen has been the #1 selling brain supplement nationwide for over 10 years. The most important supplement for the most important part of you. Try Prevagen for your brain today.
Live look in the saddling paddock here at the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club. Everything around here is beautiful, and you can still catch that sea breeze just right over the horizon as the Pacific Ocean looms in the background. We've got a number of stars coming through here. We just saw Forever Young, Lenny Lou, but it's just Breeders' Cup contender after Breeders' Cup contender photobombing us here on the set.
I tell you what, Lenny Lou looks good too, walking around.
That would be right up there with Straight No Chaser winning the sprint.
Oh, what,
with
right?
Lenny Lou. I mean, I don't know that there's ever been a human that loves their horses more than Andy Biancone.
I know. She does a great job. Yeah, she's walking around like a pro. And our boy, Forever Young.
He's here every morning.
Those are slick jackets. We all need one of those jackets, right?
You need to work on that, Mike.
I wonder if Yoshito remembers me from last year.
I doubt it.
You know what, though?
Maybe.
I put my name on that $100 bill I gave him for the jacket. Here's Aiden's Army. You know what? Aiden always has some good, very classic-looking horseware. He was wearing an Auguste Rodin vest the other day that was very sharp. They're always very understated, very British, very Irish. You know, the Great Britain sensibilities, right? They've got the English-Irish sensibilities, just conservative but slick, very chic.
It's all thought out, Mark. They have a marketing department over there at Coolmore. That's, you know, it's all calculated. Aiden's a walking billboard. They know he's going to get a lot of cameras on him. He better be wearing the right jacket.
Do they have like a jacket coordinator? Like Aiden, Thursday you're wearing Auguste Rodin. This day you're wearing, and they just go through all their stallions.
Exactly.
You know, he's like, yeah, but I didn't train American Pharoah. Wear the jacket, bud. All right, wear the jacket. Got to get that American business going too. Aiden's Army out on the racetrack here, and here they are breaking into that gallop, still in single file.
Yeah.
What's more impressive, the walking in single file or the gallop in single file?
Well, it's impressive to the American eye, but it's not really. They do
So
this every day.
routine.
Yeah. It's just, Bill Mott touched on it, with the Melbourne Cup thing. You've just got to adapt to lots of different styles of training all over the world.
Let the kid from the Louisiana bush tracks be impressed, all right? Tell him I've never seen anything like this.
I'm used to Louisiana bred just taking off.
Yeah.
There's no way they would sit behind like that.
Why did you breeze him so fast? And then the exercise guide rider goes, I was breezing him? Let's check in with Michelle Yu.
Well, we were really excited the other day to learn all about the Breeders' Cup charities. Several of their initiations, including Champions Give Back. I'm joined right now by Ken Fryrick, who is part of this. Can you tell us about the relationship you have going on with Breeders' Cup and the charities?
Absolutely. So it started in 2023, and it's continued to expand. Earlier this year, Breeders' Cup Charities had their first annual Day of Giving. So over the summer, I had done a $100,000 match. And to my pleasant surprise, in one day, we raised $200,963. So it was an overwhelming amount of support from the entire community. So now, as we get closer to Breeders' Cup in September, we announced a leadership gift of $500,000 over 3.5 years. And really, the reason I did that is I wanted to positively impact the culture of giving in the racing industry. It was really to tell everyone there's a great need, and we really need to step up to do more now, and for have people plan in advance, plan out multi-year gifts. And so whether you're an owner or a trainer, a fan, or a corporation, plan now, because as I spoke to so many of the CEOs and executive directors of the beneficiaries of Breeders' Cup Charities, I really got a firsthand look into the need for the amazing work that they do for the horses in retirement, for the backstretch workers, for research, and
our 5 pillars, we like to call them.
Yes, indeed. And so with that, I wanted to lead by example to hopefully encourage others. And now as we're approaching the big day of Breeders' Cup tomorrow, we have a $50,000 match. And so now we're trying to continue the fundraising for Breeders' Cup Charities, and we're hoping to encourage as many people as possible to give, knowing that the impact for every dollar you give is doubled.
And breederscup.com/charities is where people can donate, I believe?
Yes, absolutely. And so we're very excited about that. Also tomorrow, as part of my partnership with them, there's going to be a special celebration of my new single called I Wish. And
Wait, your new single, like you're singing?
Well, I'm not singing in it, but I wrote it and executive produced it. It's a song called I Wish that's really going to inspire and help hopefully change the world and give people hope at a time when they need to. And because the track and the Breeders' Cup is in Del Mar, I partnered with a local children's choir. So we actually have the San Diego Children's Choir coming to sing I Wish tomorrow, and super excited about them performing that and sharing the amazing music and the lyrics of this very, very powerful song. And so really excited to be here for Breeders' Cup and hoping we can try to encourage as many people as possible to support the wonderful work of Breeders' Cup Charities.
So once again, that is breederscup.com/charities. Ken, we appreciate the time so much and, of course, your generosity.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
So he is a philanthropist, and that's a level of success I wish to get to one day where you can use that as a title. He gives back so much. Eagerly anticipating to hear I Wish tomorrow. It'll be such a great moment here at Breeders' Cup. Once again, the 5 core pillars of the Champions Give Back campaign: aftercare, jockey health and wellness, backstretch workers, industry workers, and equine research. $1 from every cocktail. The Torrey Cup featuring Maker's Mark and the Garland featuring Chopin will be donated to Breeders' Cup Charity, and you can also support Champions Give Back by texting BCWC to 855-800-4975 or visit breederscup.com/charities. But thank you, Ken Fryrick, and everything that you've done to make these charities really fill their coffers over the Breeders' Cup events as we take a look at Brant, the undefeated winner of the Del Mar Futurity. as he makes his way over the track. This is earlier today for trainer Bob Baffert.
Yeah, $3 million purchase, 2 for 2, won the Del Mar Fraternity this past summer, and looks really, really good.
Got a very unique way of going in his faster paces. He kind of just dishes that left front leg out, which it doesn't affect him. I mean, he costs $3 million as a 2-year-old in training, and why do horses realize so much money at 2-year-old in training sales? Well, they've got to have good physicals and they've got to work fast. He did both of those, and he's backed it up with 2 wins. He's trying 2 turns for the first time by Gunrunner. Should love the distance out of a Liam's map mare.
Let me ask you though, I feel like despite winning the Futurity, fans, handicappers, horse players, somewhat underwhelmed by his Grade 1 win. I think expecting more because of that sensational debut. And if you really want to get down to the finer points, did run slower on figures, whether it's Byers, Thorograph, or Ragozin, all 3. He was slower when he stretched out to 2 turns, or when he went to not to 2 turns, but to the longer distance. Are we making too much of these things? Are we looking at it through too much of a microscope?
Yeah, he won, right?
Right.
Yeah. And to your point, he went quick, too. I mean, it was only his 2nd career start going 7/8. 21-4 for a 2-year-old. I mean, that's pretty quick going 7/8 and still won.
Well, that's the thing. You know, he went so quick, he probably didn't finish that fast. And that would be the concern on Saturday. You know, you go in 2 turns. You don't want to go too fast. He's got to learn to rate. I think he can. You know, maybe he regressed a little bit, but he's trained up to this race. And I get your point. On the same day, Bob Baffert had a maiden winner called Boyd. And at the end of the day's racing, everybody was talking about him more than Brand. It was a horse that Tyler Gaffalione rode, just a one-off. And that horse was very impressive. Obviously, he's on the sidelines for a little bit, but this horse has got all the tools, and we'll just have to see. I mean, I think the post is good for him.
I was going to say, I think the 7 post is absolutely even for Ted Nafi.
Yeah.
I don't think the 8 post all the way on the outside is terrible, because he has enough speed to where Johnny V can kind of position him accordingly, just right off the pace, and like most of his races have been.
There is a look at Brant's, one of the most talked about horses this entire summer at Del Mar. There's a look inside the breakfast marquee, as we will be joining Michelin-starred chef Curtis Stone. Michelle Yu sits down with her annual powwow with the chef. More to come on the breakfast show right after this.
I have 52,000 starts in my life. I've never seen one that could take as much as he did early and continue to improve.
And it is Godite.
He's strong, he's attractive.
And he's going to win the hopeful.
He's extremely smooth and fluid.
Godite is a tough customer here as they come on for the finish.
How sound he is.
Godite got the jump.
Consistent mentally, physically.
He will defeat Elite Power in the Forgo.
Complete package.
Longines. Elegance is an attitude.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least consulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
NetJets is more. And with NetJets, you get more. More exceptional service. Heightened safety standards. And anytime access to where you're needed most. Do more and miss less with NetJets.
stars are aligning.
Patriot Spirit is almost there. Patriot Spirit wins the Mossberg.
Mindframe has taken charge. It's Mindframe's Foster. Pinup Betty comes on to grab the lead, and Pinup Betty, the winner.
Constitution is establishing himself as a founding father with exciting young sons at stud. Constitution, standing at WinStar Farm.
Name one horse racing today.
12:30.
Well, guys, Breeders' Cup always on the forefront of health and safety here for our equine athletes. I'm happy to be joined by Dr. Ryan Carpenter. It was publicized yesterday that Goliath had undergone a PET scan prior to racing. We have now found the PET scan, and Ryan's going to tell us what is a PET scan.
Yeah, so a PET scan is basically like a nuclear scintigraphy or a bone scan. But the beauty of the PET scan is it allows us to get a three-dimensional image. So it's a much clearer image. We can see a lot more specific details, and we can get pinpoint accuracy of the areas of uptake of concern that we're worried about.
How does it compare to an X-ray or an MRI?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different imaging modalities out there. There's the simple things that we can do in the shed row, which is the X-ray or the ultrasound, and those are really quick and easy to do because we can do them with your horse standing right there in the shed row. The downsides of those is that we have to see something pretty dramatic on the horse in order to pick it up. So an X-ray is great to see a bone chip or a fracture, but it's not going to pick up the process that leads up to the bone chip or the fracture. Whereas the PET scan can pick up the pathology that occurs prior to the chip or the fracture occurring.
So in layman's terms, it's kind of showing an issue before it's there. Does it show up as like a heat sensor when you look at, those kind of things? I mean, in X-ray we see it's black and white. How are you looking at the PET scan results and saying that's an issue?
Yeah, so the amazing thing about racehorse injuries is there's a saying that says disease occurs over time. So horses don't just break a bone or break a leg. It actually is a process that takes several weeks, if not a month, leading up to that process. The PET scan allows us to see all the changes that occur prior to the actual fracture occurring. And what we're looking for is areas of uptake or hot spots in areas that we know are prone to fracture, to know that that's the area that we need to be concerned about.
And looking at the PET scan itself, can you just tell us how it works? I mean, I'm going to guess a leg goes in there.
Yeah, so this was a really cool invention from the guys up at UC Davis. Matthew Spurey spearheaded this. And so this actual initial design was actually rotated 90 degrees and done on a person or animal under general anesthesia. So
laying down.
Laying down. So what he did was he rotated it 90 degrees, and then he created this system which can actually open up. And so this is actually revolutionary because it never could do that up until his innovation. And so now what it allows us to do is we can walk the horse in, and then we can close the gantry over the area that we're going to image. So now we can actually image, and this machine allows us to go from the knee or the hock to the foot, and we can actually take a scanning image of the whole leg down. The most coolest thing about this design is if the horse gets nervous, which we all know horses can get nervous, and they back away, it's as simple as backing away. So there's really no risk of injury to the animal by undergoing this type of imaging. And so it's very safe and it's very effective.
How often do you feel like we've utilized the PET scan since it's come into its existence in our Southern California racing circuit?
Oh, it's a staple in Southern California racing. We've done thousands of PET scans over the last 5 years and collected a tremendous amount of data that allows us to then share to the rest of the world what we know normal and abnormal is. So it's been a really cool process to be part of.
Well, I appreciate the time and always the knowledge. Thank you, Dr. Carpenter.
Thank you.
And Jonathan Stewart weighing in. He said Goliath is in top form. The vets have been very thorough requiring a PET scan yesterday that he passed with flying colors. as we have one of the top trainers in the world, and the horse always comes first. He's 100% sound and ready to race. I am so happy the fans will get to see this talented lineup in the Breeders' Cup Turf. And yes, there's going to be a little more scrutiny because of the string that we were talking about earlier, Simon. But Goliath has been in tremendous form throughout his entire career, and he's always had it, so it is of zero issue.
Yeah, he's been checked by numerous vets all over the world. It's a well-documented condition. I mentioned it's not very common, doesn't happen very often, but it affects the nerve signals to the muscles, not the pain receptor, so there's no pain, and when the horse travels at a faster gait, you don't see it as much. So that's great. The introduction of the PET scan has completely changed racehorse equine diagnostics over the last couple of years. When I was training, you were just used to the standard X-ray in the shed row, and you're looking for things when they've happened. Basically, it's like a kid breaking their arm. You probably know it's broken. An X-ray is going to reveal it. What the PET scan does, it anticipates, it finds those hot spots and maybe a micro fracture that's occurring, and it tells you where those spots are, and you can stop on a horse before it eventually gets to a point where they incur a fracture.
Let's check in for a little follow-up once again with Michelle.
Well, guys, I know Mike Rapoli is supposed to be making his way over to the set. I actually just saw him at breakfast right now, and I reminded him, and he said, well, let's go. And I said, well, I'm not going to be there. He said, I only do interviews with you or Christina Blacker, so I don't know what's going to happen, Mike Joyce. I pointed him in the right direction, but no guarantees he makes it into the set.
Oh, he'll talk to Simon Bray. I'm not worried about that. Simon will get him to relax. It's me, if it was just me, I'd be worried, but we're going to boot Talamo out to bring Rapoli in.
That's fine with me. I'm going to get a front row seat. I cannot wait.
Let's check in with Andy Biancone.
Well, we have two greats beside us here, trainer Graham Motion and South African trainer Mike de Kock. But please tell me a little bit about One Stripe and how Graham acquired this horse, Mike.
So he won a Group 1 in South Africa. It's a weight for age event in January. For a 3-year-old, it's actually quite an effort beating all the older horses. And then Team Hollywood acquired a major share in him. And, of course, with the fact that the races are winning you in for the Breeders' Cup, it was a natural progression because the Hollywood boys, Owen Heffer, all they want to do is he's been coming to the Breeders' Cup, I think, for 27 years in a row. And for him to have a runner, and it made sense with the horse being a winning you in race, to acquire a stake in him and then send him to Graham, which was a natural thing to do, given that we had Isivunguvungu with him. So, but then the long journey started. He had to do. He does about 3 weeks in quarantine in South Africa, and then he did a 60-day residence in France with your man there, Graham. Yeah. And then on to Graham.
And Graham, you were there the day he won the Win and You're in South Africa. How has he adjusted to being in your care overall?
Yeah, I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. So, but he really, for a 3-year-old to beat older horses that day was pretty unusual. He's been very straightforward. He came to me. Gavin kept him galloping in France, so he was there for 2 months. So when he got to me in the middle of the summer, I kind of kicked on with him. I picked a ridiculous race to run him in as a prep for this, running him in Woodbine. He had to give weight to everybody, which was not the smartest thing I could have done. But, the object was to get him started. The timing of the race was really good in order to get him here.
So do you feel like he's taken a step forward having that race under his belt, Graham?
Yeah, I really do, actually. He's changed significantly. We didn't have synthetic before he ran in Canada. He could only breeze on the dirt, which was quite difficult for him, I thought. Especially we were getting him ready since he hadn't run since the early spring. No, he's done really well. Had a nice breeze at Fair Hill before he shipped here, and he's done well here.
And Mike, you obviously trained One Stripe before he came to Graham, before he won the prep over in South Africa. How is it being reunited with him here at the Breeders' Cup?
I actually didn't train him. A man called Vaughan Marshall trained him, who actually trained the father as well. So I was just an interested observer on the day when he did win. And but he's done really well. Obviously a Southern Hemisphere horse coming north, it's a tough ask. It's a really tough ask for him to be here on Saturday, but I think he deserves his place. He's a real genuine weight for age horse. Last run in Canada, he gave 5 pounds away to European Group 1s. So this is a proper horse. It's all coming quite early for him. I think Graham's going to have a lot of fun with this horse in the next year, that's for sure.
Well, Mike, you've certainly facilitated a good thing here. Graham, Mike, thank you to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andy.
We've got a Calbred trying open company in this year's Breeders' Cup in Big City Lights. He is supremely talented. And look, he was third in the Pat O'Brien, third in the Triple Band. He won the Palos Verdes. He's no stranger to open company, but he's been getting so good. They're taking their shot.
Yeah, and he's won here too, which is a huge advantage.
There's a look at Big City Lights on the track for Richard Mandella. Ran the best race of his life last time out in the Cal Cup Sprint. That was on the 18th of January. It's been a while since he's been to the races, but if anyone can bring him up off a layoff like this, it's Papa Mandella.
Yeah, this to me has got Mandella upset written all over it. This is the type of horse I think comes into the race. Maybe he doesn't win this race, but he's going to run way better than his 15-1 morning line odds. If I was playing long shots, this would be definitely one of the horses I'd be playing on the 2 days. And the reason being because, he's proven over the track. Yeah, he's been running against Calbreds. People are going to look at that. But if you just kind of look at his open races, he's right there with Dr. Venkman, Raging Torrent, who won the Malibu. Won the Malibu. He won the Met Mile. I mean, these are good horses. And then take out some of his 7/8 races. Just look at his last 3 races going 6 furlongs, and he's undefeated. I think 6 is his trip. Don't sleep on this horse at a big price.
How often you see Richard Mandella work one in 58 flat, too?
Right. I mean, that tells you something about the talent, this horse.
And he's going to get a good trip. This race is so quick early. I know Ben Tornado, everyone's talking about that. Michael Alvarone paid $1 million last night to buy 25%. They look outstanding. Straight No Chase is very fast. But this horse will get the right trip just behind the speed.
Well, when he was 4 years old, he was second in 4 consecutive races to the Chosen Run, who looked like the best sprinter in the world.
Yeah.
So even though it was a Calbred race, he was taking on one of the best at the distance. So he does have a resume. Yeah, you got to parse through it a little bit, but he's a win machine. And yeah, he's taking advantage of the Calbred competition, but he's faced open company. He's a graded stakes winner. Yeah, I'm with you, Simon. I think he's dangerous at 15-1.
I mean, he's never been off the board here at Del Mar's. 5 starts, 2 wins, 2 seconds, and a third.
Mandella, whenever he shows up at a Breeders' Cup, he always has some sort of success. There's no question about it. I mean, these guys point for these days, and this is just one of those sneaky horses I think is coming in under the radar.
And you make a really good point, too, Simon. I think he gets a really good trip and setup, too, with that, for the most part, inside post, drawing 5 of the field of 14. I think that this speed will go, and he probably could get first run on him.
Yep.
Well, he's going to have to take on the defending sprint champion in Straight No Chaser for Dan Blacker and My Racehorse. Straight No Chaser earlier today out for his usual morning gallop, and he looks like he's feeling good.
Yeah, we know what. I mean, he's a horse that is very, very fast, and he can go quick in the morning. So he had an easy breeze, his final breeze. We saw that on the show at the beginning of the week. Obviously, he got hooked up in a little bit of company, but it didn't affect the workout much. But he looks tremendous coming in here.
And I think the 12 post is to his advantage versus being in the, say, 1 to 4 hole. Because as quick as he is, he's not going to have to really send too hard from an inside post to where I feel like last time he almost had to go where being outside, he could probably try and sit right off.
He looked a little one-dimensional, right, coming into the Breeders' Cup last year. And then he's drawn, 12 of 14. Last year he was drawn 8 of 11. It forced him to sit just off the pace, and I think that helped him. He showed a little more finish that day.
Well, I think that was even though he finished third, I think there was a good prep race in the Santa Anita Sprint Championship because he was out on the lead. He got some speed into him. I'm just wondering, this is a horse that routinely works in 47, maybe 48. You always say err on the side of caution in those pre-Breeders' Cup or pre-big race works. I feel like the horse joining him in that work couple days ago maybe caused him to go slower rather than faster. And I think working in 49, I mean, he's a horse who worked 47 flat going into the race last year. Would that be of any concern to you, Simon?
If the excuse for him getting beat on Saturday is because he worked to 49 a week out from the race, I don't buy that.
100%.
If he went 47, 49, that's not going to change his fitness. Now, he went 47 on October the 12th. If he went 49 there, I'd be a little more concerned, but
he got the main work out of the way. That was just a maintenance drill, so if it didn't go as usual 47 clip, it's of no concern.
Not to me. I mean, that's just my view.
And I think to Simon's point too, I think Dan's assistant, he knows that horse very well. If he would have asked him to go a little fast, he could have went 46 and 4 at 47, which I think would have been too quick.
Then you would have had an excuse.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break. When we return, Mike Rapoli joins the Breakfast Show.
Conceived as the Super Bowl of horse racing, where champions are crowned, the Breeders' Cup can cement a horse's legacy and forever define him as one of the all-time greats. No fewer than 7 starters by champion sire Gunrunner are entered in this year's Breeders' Cup, including defending classic champion Sierra Leone. There's an old expression in the horse business which says, like begets like. At Three Chimneys, with Gunrunner, we call it Breed True.
Calling all, calling all, calling all trillionaires.
Come and join a club that has rewards for everyone. I'm talking birthday perks, free daily game, and other stuff that's fun.
Designed for people who love thrills like me and her and him, and with the weekly bonus back, our thrills are filled up to the brim.
So we're calling all, calling all, calling all trillionaires. Calling all, calling all, calling all trillionaires. Calling all.
Calling all trillionaires. FanDuel Casino.
FanDuel held a shooting contest to promote its new MySpend tool. MySpend makes it easy to view your deposit and bet history all in one place. Because betting without knowing how much you're spending is like shooting in the dark. See the whole picture. Make FanDuel's MySpend tool part of your system and stop shooting in the dark.
Douglas trusts Prevagen for his brain, and this is his story.
I'm Douglas, and I'm from Chicago. I was looking for something specifically for my brain. That's when I chose Prevagen. And the confidence I've received from Prevagen allows me to continue to do those things that I love. I have been taking Prevagen for more than 9 years, and it really works for me.
Prevagen has been the #1 selling brain supplement nationwide for over 10 years.
FanDuel's Breakfast at the Breeders' Cup is presented by WinStar Farm and by Phasic Tipton.
As promised, I am joined right now by Chef Curtis Stone, and I feel like this is a very organized kitchen. There's not a lot of chaos like last year.
It's organized chaos. It's like a duck swimming over a pond. It looks fine up top, but down below, those little feet are paddling away. So it's we're feeding lots of people here. You know, I love the Breeders' Cup because it is the very best of thoroughbred racing, and we try and bring the very best of fine dining food. We serve breakfast, we serve lunch, we serve thousands of people over a few days. It's really good fun.
Well, I got to say, you have a really diverse menu, which is appreciated because we have a lot of people from around the world. Yeah. How do you go about planning that to make sure everyone has something that's going to make them happy?
Well, we actually look at the guests. You know, we have the best of thoroughbreds coming from all over the world. So we've got guys up there rolling hand-rolled sushi.
That doesn't start yet, though. Stay at the set, guys. It doesn't start yet.
Yeah, very soon, actually, yeah, in 15 minutes. We've also got a South American buffet. We've got, of course, the best of America. I've even squeezed in a couple of little Aussie things in there. You know, the racing world is vast, and we welcome guests from all over the world, so we try and cater for everyone.
You got to show me some of the food. The Aussie. I saw there's an Aussie sausage roll. I'm obsessed. I need one. Where are they? Show them to me, please.
You got it. I'm going to get you some. We've also got Lamingtons, delicious sweet treats from Australia, and then, of course, things like this, fried chicken biscuits that are about to go racing up. This is how it works. We have a giant marquee back here. We've got the sweet side all the way down there. We're standing in front of the savoury side, so everyone's working on different dishes. And then we race them up into the marquees and we set the buffets. And then we've also got guys making omelettes and French toast and pancakes in the room as well.
Oh, it's fancy. They call it Pan Perdue.
Hang on. I'm I'm salivating for the food. Could we get back over there?
Oh my gosh, that looks so good.
I know, it's tremendous. Curtis Stone has been the Michelin-starred chef that has organized the meals and the menus for the breakfasts for years now, and every year it seems to up the game too. It's really amazing.
You could see his excitement too when he talks about Breeders' Cup.
Yeah.
Just so into it.
And the little behind-the-scenes action here. He's sitting there giving speaking out. Simon goes, hits all the talking points like a true pro.
Yeah. I mean, he's smooth, man.
Made for TV. Oh yeah.
Smooth as butter.
Let's check in with Andy Biancone.
Well, we're here with a very special horse right here, Nakatomi, part of the Wesley Ward contenders, and this is going to be his third Breeders' Cup Sprint. So very successful. He punched his ticket when he won the Stoll Keenan Ogden Phoenix back in the fall meet at Keeneland, and he did so impressively. So no question, Nakatomi is coming into excellent form, but Wesley loves this horse. He always speaks the world of him. As you can see, he's very friendly, very curious, and he hit the track yesterday under Louis Dubois. They looked fantastic together as always. Louis has traveled with Nakatomi to several places, including overseas. But like I said, Nakatomi just a contender who has experience here at the Breeders' Cup, and hopefully he can get it done this year.
I think he's certainly a contender. I look at Nakatomi over and over again, even though he's 15-1 morning line. I wouldn't be shocked. I think that sprint, first of all, I don't think Straight No Chaser is getting enough respect on the morning line that he deserves as a defending champ. But two, I feel like outside of Straight No Chaser, there are so many horses that could jump up and win this race.
Oh, for sure. I know everybody's on Ben Tornado off of that dominant victory last time, and he's 5-2. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised too. I mean, Straight No Chaser 8-1. That's about as good as value
Defending
as you could
champ.
get.
Ben Tornado is the horse that people haven't seen. They come here and they're like, oh my gosh. I mean, he's just massive. And like I said last night, Michael Ivorone stepped up $1 million for 25%. So values the horse at $4 million going into the Breeders' Cup.
I mean, what's $1 million to Michael Ivorone?
Yeah, exactly.
That's 2 outfits and a pair of sunglasses, right? I mean, he spends that on a weekend.
It's like Lucchese's for you.
I'm glad you brought that up. My entire outfit is Lucchese today. I wanted to, when you get off the set to do your Equicizer segment, well, I want to have the camera pan down to my boots because
Have you heard
Lucchese,
Mike's wearing Lucchese today?
Yeah.
Look, they came on as a sponsor for Breeders' Cup 2 years ago, and I'm telling you, they are it's not that they're the best boots in the world. They're the greatest footwear in the world.
You know what? When I go into Equicizer, I'll wear them.
No, you won't. Absolutely not. You're going nowhere. No, sir. You're not going anywhere near these things. In fact, I might be sitting too close to you as we speak. Let's check in once again with Michelle and continue her interview with Curtis Stone.
Fancy they call it Pam Purdue, though. Did you guys train for the stairs? I mean, did you guys practice carrying trays and trays upstairs for 4 hours at a time?
I say to everyone, you're going to lose weight doing this event, and we don't charge extra. In fact, we pay you to come and do the exercise. We cover some miles, that's for sure. But you know what? Good food takes hard work.
What has been the most popular food that people have been eating this year?
Do you know what's so interesting? We have a carving station for breakfast, right? And when I first thought of that, I was like, these guys are up since 4 o'clock in the morning, a lot of these trainers, you know, so and horse owners, so they're up real early. So as we're serving them breakfast at 9 o'clock, they're ready for some roast beef. So we've got roast beef, roast lamb, roast hams, and they are really, really popular this year.
Oh, well, all right. So I'm going to try the carvery station. I'm going to eat one of these chicken biscuits. Hopefully there's some gravy, and I'm definitely going to find myself a sausage roll. So thank you so much for joining me, and thanks for feeding all of Breeders' Cup.
You're so welcome. It's been a lot of fun.
Oh, Mike Joyce, I found your avocado toast, too.
Thank you very much. It really is one of the many ways where we are spoiled here by Breeders' Cup at the Breakfast Marquee and all the delectable creations of Curtis Stone.
Yeah, I mean, this was never in play up until about, maybe 10 years ago they started doing it, and it's just been a hit each and every year. Tremendous add to the Breeders' Cup experience.
There's Big City Lights, the sprinter, trying to shock the world here at Breeders' Cup in the Side Games Sprint. Let's check in with Andy.
Well, Charlie Hills has made it in to watch Kadem run in the Breeders' Cup Sprint after he won the Woodford at Keeneland. You told me this horse feels like a part of the family. How is it just watching him at this point, coming into a race that's going to be his swan song?
Yeah, it's amazing, really. You know, he's just really taken to American racing. You know, he's been over here now probably 3 months, and He's just really thrived since he's been here. You see now he's walking around and he's full of the life of joys, you know. So look, we're looking forward to Saturday. He's got a nice draw. 5 furlongs is going to be pretty sharp for him around here, but hopefully a good pace and he'll finish strongly.
I have to say, in the afternoons, he has been full of himself. I know he's 9 years old, but he certainly acts like a 3-year-old, bucking, jumping. Is that just a positive sign that you're seeing that kind of energy from him?
It is, yeah, absolutely. He's always he's never been the most straightforward horse to train. He's always sort of had his own way of thinking, but he's actually grown up an awful lot through his career, and you like to see him jumping and jig-jogging. It's part of him, really.
Well, Frankie Dettori announced yesterday that this Breeders' Cup would be his swan song, and Frankie has actually been coming to see Kadem in the afternoons. I mean, has he just been an important part of this horse's career?
No, Frankie's sort of ridden a few times through his career, and it's put a bit more pressure on us, really, for him. It'd be fantastic if he could go out with a win, especially here at the Breeders' Cup.
Charlie, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Joined right now by His Excellency Ali Ali from the Dubai Racing Club. And it was just announced a partnership between the Breeders' Cup and the Dubai Racing Club. Can you explain it?
Well, it was an amazing announcement, and we're very happy that this collaboration is happening. The collaboration is with 4 races from Dubai World Cup night that will qualify a winner near end into the Breeders' Cup, and then vice versa as well. The Breeders' Cup's 4 races coming into Dubai World Cup, and we're looking forward to giving the winner near ends on the weekend for the amazing horses that are going to be winning.
It's such a great pathway from the Breeders' Cup into the Middle East to be able to have the Dubai World Cup night there. What else do you want to tell Americans? Because your carnival opens November 7th.
So we're starting our carnival, which is an international carnival, on the 7th of November. And we've got races qualifying for amazing Group 1 races, and as well as the Dubai World Cup. And we're welcoming all the owners and welcoming all the great horses to come to Dubai and have a beautiful winter there, and then prep themselves to come back to the season here in America.
Why do you think it's been so important to have a relationship between Dubai and the Breeders' Cup?
You see, horse racing is a very connected sport, and this was the aim of this collaboration, and all thanks goes to the team here at the Breeders' Cup, especially Drew Fleming. We had an amazing conversation when we started this, and we ended up with the beautiful announcement that we're collaborating together, and we're looking forward to a lifelong relationship with the Breeders' Cup and everything that comes with it.
All right, thank you so much for your time and looking forward to this partnership.
And thank you, and hope to see you in Dubai.
Yes, I hope so too.
Thank you very much, Michelle. We're going to take a break here on The Breakfast Show, but when we return, the man at the helm of the Rapoli stable, Mr. Rapoli himself, will join us on The Breakfast Show.
Jeff Shepard is the MVP of this 1998 championship team.
Into mischief wins the cup. Call futility.
Successful fathers set the bar. It's our job to raise it.
Life is good. Really, really, really good. Life is good. And this colt is incredible.
Now, it's our time.
Calling all!
Calling all!
Calling all! Trillionaires!
Calling all, calling all, calling all, trillionaires. Calling all, calling all, calling all, trillionaires.
Come and join a club that has rewards for everyone. I'm talking birthday perks, free daily game, and other stuff that's fun.
Designed for people who love thrills like me and her and him, and with a weekly bonus back, our thrills are filled up to the brim. Can you thrill me?
Yeah, because it's will be. Like the most amount of pure glee that ya ever gonna get from rewards that start day one. So we're calling all,
Calling all, calling all, trillionaires. Calling all, calling all. Calling all, trillionaires. Calling all, calling all, calling all, trillionaires. Calling all, calling all.
Calling all Trillionaires. FanDuel Casino.
Longines. Elegance is an attitude.
The 2025 Pacific Classic. This is a Breeders' Cup Challenge Series win, and you're in. It's East versus West. Fierceness versus journalism on FanDuel TV.
Fierceness shipping in from the East Coast for owner Mike Rapoli, trainer Todd Pletcher.
Bringing them out, this is what the fans want. Like, this is what they want. I think Fierceness, people think he needs the leads. People sometimes think he needs his way. Listen, he's a great horse, and, we'll see what happens, and hopefully he puts on something special tonight.
They're off in the Pacific Classic. And Fierceness angled to the inside, almost went into that temporary rail.
He's breaking from the one hole. There's a temporary rail here, so he ducks in right there, loses all position.
Get him out of there. He was going to go over the rail, though, and I don't know. He's never been in that position before and seeing the gap there, and he went for it.
Up the backstretch they go.
So he's bottled up right here, absolutely nowhere to go. So Johnny actually decides to go in between the number 8 horse and the outside horse coming up here. And this is where I thought the winning move was. Instead of staying bobbled up and just waiting for something to open, he's just like, I'm on the best horse, let's go.
Kind of wait my way out between horses and then have them pull like so they light. I just give him the head and get there and put the ears up. Once he got there, it was pretty easy from there. He gave me a lot of confidence from there.
When he's at his best, he still has the edge on every other horse that we can talk about in the Classic division. Sovereignty, journalism, Sierra Leone, mind frame, you name it. So if the good Fierceness shows up to any race he runs in, he's going to win.
And they're into the stretch, and Fierceness is in front. He's got a 2-length lead, and Journalism has a furlong to run him down. Fierceness and John Velasquez still there at the 16th pole. Journalism is all out, and he's not doing enough to beat the beast from the east. Fierceness has won the Pacific Classic by 3. Journalism was second.
What a horse race, and what a performance by Fierceness. He overcomes what looks like a disastrous start. He looked like he might be out of the race at the start. Instead, he recovers, makes a decisive move, and wins.
Well, that was one of the shining moments of Fierceness's career as he is back where his exploits are. We are joined by Mike Rapoli. Mike, thanks for joining us here on The Breakfast Show.
Good to see you, buddy. Yeah.
Good.
How you doing?
Very good. A little anxious, but when I got in today, Todd took the horses out at like 4 in the morning, hoping I wouldn't be here, I think. I did it at 5:30. I think he wants me not to show up in the morning, but I got here, and, horses went out. They feel good. They look good. Entourage is coming in later tonight or tomorrow, and excited about the big races.
So let's talk about the biggest race. I want to start because Fierceness, there's one thing, you might be a controversial character. One thing that's not controversial about you is that you're very game. The game's been shipped to bring Fierceness back for this campaign this year. You could have easily retired him. Mindframe also supremely talented. You've said before, you're not exactly sure which one's better. Fierceness is the morning line favorite, but when you're envisioning how this race unfolds, for both of your horses, focusing on them too, what do you want to see other than a dead heat for the win, obviously?
Yeah, that would count as 2 Breeders' Cup Classics, right?
Yeah.
To go with Vino Rosso. But you know what? I mean, obviously we want them to all have clean breaks. I mean, we didn't really want the rail, obviously, but that he had the rail last start and he already made that left turn is, Todd doesn't think he's going to do it again. Johnny obviously will have the whip in the left hand, so he doesn't make that right turn, by the way. And listen, I think he's got a break. But what was interesting last time was he actually sat for the first time right on top of horses. Like you could tell that he was ready to go. It kind of maybe some adrenaline out of him, just sitting behind horses. And then I asked Johnny. I said, Johnny, did you think about going wide? And he goes, wide. I said, he dragged me through those 2 horses. So Johnny was on him, and he loves this place. I mean,
he's run his best races here, arguably, right?
It's 2 best races.
Yeah.
I still think, unfortunately, the loss in the Breeders' Cup was the best race. When you go 22 and 44 and 109 and you lose by a length and a half here, it's pretty special. So, Mike, I'll tell you this, last year, if he would have won that race, I would have had a tough decision.
Right.
He just won everything. He just won the Classic. What do you do? Even though I wanted to bring him back, it's hard to, people don't realize that. They think it's just about the fans, but these horses, what can happen. I mean, any day, one bad step.
Charlie Whittingham had the line. They're like strawberries. They can go rotten overnight.
Yeah, and the last thing you want to do, so you're torn between running them back. And then when he lost the race, I said, you know what? It was a sign that, I knew the Breeders' Cup was back here, and we had unfinished business, so we're back.
So Mindframe is, he's kind of like the overshadowed. He's the lesser of the two, but not on talent. I mean, this horse is freakishly talented. And when we were talking to you of the Pacific Classic, you're not certain. You don't want to say, oh, Fierceness is definitely better than Mindframe. They're both that good.
No, I mean, you know, I had this situation 15 years ago with Uncle Mo and Stay Thirsty. You know, Stay Thirsty was in Uncle Mo's shadow until he won the Jim Dandy and the Travers. But here, you know, Mindframe has won it 7 furlongs. He's won it a mile. He's won it a mile and a 16th, mile and an eighth. He is definitely the most consistent horse, other than, unfortunately, you know, his jockey falling off him last time. There's only one horse in the country that's beaten him, is Dornoch.
Yeah.
You know, if it wasn't for the Belmont and the Haskell, he's 7 for 7 undefeated. So he shows up every time, runs a big race. He raced Sierra Leone in the Belmont. Sierra Leone was third, he was second. Raced him in the Stephen Foster, he was first, Sierra Leone was second. So he's going to be 10-1, 12-1. I think that's just the Fiesta Sierra Leone effect. But this horse should, I mean, he's got a good chance as those two horses to win this race.
So what's it like being an owner and having a horse like Sierra Leone that's kind of been the burr in the saddle? It's part of that rivalry. For the fan, it's great because we have the showdown. It's everything. It's the two horses against each other. It's you versus Coolmore. It's Chad versus Todd. What's it like from your perspective?
Contrary thinking versus fierceness, things like that. No. You know, for me, it's. I love this. Like I you know, I don't know if you guys have picked up, but I stir the pot once in a while.
Right.
Have you seen that?
Once or twice.
I've heard, yeah.
It's getting out there a little bit more, but I love that. Like, to me, like when I'm in social media or I'm having interviews, I'm engaging, I'm having fun. Like, I'm laughing every time I'm running. And these people, obviously big fans or fans against, either way, they take it very serious.
They take it literally. You're trying to just create
entertainment.
I think that's what makes it special.
Right.
Yes.
You know, like I love, you know, it's, Rapoli, you're great for the game. I love you. I love this. Rapoli, you're fat slob. Go here. Like, to me, I get entertainment by both of them.
Right.
And when you can get that type of emotion from both sides, this extreme, that they start fighting each other, it's pretty special. But, I mean, this is Coolmore, Chad, Todd, me, you know, Vinny Viola with Mindframe. I think this is what racing's about, right? It's
we
about
get it every day.
competition.
You're an idiot. You went 0 for 8, Simon. You couldn't pick a winner. And then the next day you're a genius when you pick 2.
Do you really pick 2, though?
Yeah.
All right.
But there is the Howard Stern effect, right? The haters support you just as much as it's about having a strong opinion, whether it's good or bad. It's having that vested opinion, and that way, the passion runs both ways. So just if you elicit that, it gets more engagement.
1,000%, Mike. And what's weird is that this game has no one that's vocal.
Right.
I mean, you know, listen, if you said name the top 5 owners in the game, I don't know if you can come up with 4 others. I mean, like, or, you know, someone would be in Dubai or somebody would be in an, you know, Irish Castle. Like it's hard to make those people, you know, like let the fans get into what's going on with what they're doing behind the scenes. So, you know, we got to get, you know, the horses are the stars. But the trainers, the jockeys, the owners, the groom, how do we build this sport where it's about people and horses? And the horses are here, you know, like, you know, Todd's in his 27th year of training. Johnny Velasquez, you know, 27, 28 years. These horses, it's 1 year, 2 years, or 3 tops.
Right.
Like Fiercest, 2-year-old champ, came back, came in second in the Breeders' Cup last year, and now he's back again. That doesn't happen. I'm not sure. You guys would know better than me. When was the last time a dirt horse was in 3 straight Breeders' Cups? A dirt horse. You know, I'm not sure.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's happened with Beholder, but not 3 consecutive. But this was the race. I mean, to your point, this was the race that I think in 20 years, Fierceness, Baeza, obviously the Scratch of Sovereignty has turned it upside down. The Japanese participant. But to your point, we got to highlight the people. I think that's changed in the last 10 years. I think horse racing in particular, I think they've been very guarded with the media. I think the participants want to be treated like a big league sport. But when it comes to doing interviews in bad situations after a loss, I think sometimes, you know, they don't want to do that. But I think that's changed. I think you see that in the Breakfast of the Breeders' Cup show where people are just willing to talk into a microphone.
But Simon, you don't always have to just get these guys after a race or before a race. We can do stories behind the scenes with the grooms and the jockeys and the horses and people's story. But, I mean, this race is one of the greatest races because, you know, forget about Sovereignty and Journalism and Baeza, the 3-year-olds, but Forever Young came back. Sierra came back. Fierceness came back. Mindframe developed in the star that we thought he was going to be. So it's not the 3-year-olds that made this race. It's the 4-year-olds. Sure. And, you know, next year, I mean, you know, like Journalism is supposed to go to Coolmore. Sovereignty's question mark. Forever Young and Baeza should be back. But, you know, we just have to make it where I didn't have to bring back Fierceness. I want to bring back Fierceness. You know, I am trying listen, I'm in my mid-50s. I fell in this game when I was a teenage kid. I talk to these 15, 25, 35-year-old kids in the industry who love the sport. They're looking upon us to, like, make sure it's still here 5 years, 10 years, and 15 years from now. And, my daughter's 10 years old. I mean, there's a lot that we can do together, but horse racing's our thing. And she's right next to me every time. Daddy, are you nervous? And she's very vocal, and she celebrates even bigger than me, and she cries. Maybe not as much as me, but she cries after a ball. She does cry. So, but how do we do that,
Well, I want to talk about your journey in horse racing, because I remember back in the days when we had the vitamin water bottles on the set, and then Frank Lyons would come and hungover and drink half of them during war. But you entered the game playing the claiming game. You wanted to learn the game from the owner perspective, from the ground up. You played the claiming game. You had titles in New Jersey and New York. I think you were the first owner to ever do that, be leading trainer in both states. But you worked your way up to the Breeders' Cups, to the Derbies, to all of that. Why did you decide to do that? You obviously could have just jumped in the deep end of the pool right off the bat, but tell me why you decided to do it that way in a sport that you already knew pretty well.
Mike, that's a great question. I mean, I knew the sport pretty well as a fan. I knew the sport pretty well as a gambler. I knew the sport pretty well as, on the outside. Observer.
Yeah.
The inside of this game and the outside of the game, you're playing two different games. Yeah. So I knew, like I built brands my whole life. I mean, and one thing I always say is everyone knows I'm super aggressive, but I'm also patiently aggressive. Vitamin Water was around 5 or 6 years before people knew about it. Body Armor was around 5 or 6 years before people knew it. Noble is not the biggest brand now, but will be in 5 years. That brand building. So I said, I want to start in. I want to claim horses for $20,000. I want to buy New York breds. I got incredible trainers like Bruce Levine, Mike Maselli. I got started with, and I learned the game. For 5 years, I watched Todd Pletcher, when I was in a race with him, walk right by me and go to the winner's circle. I kind of wanted to trip him a couple times, and I should have. But at the end of the day, I couldn't go to Todd Pletcher and say, hey, I got one horse for $150,000. When I try to talk to new owners, and there are new owners that come in, and they think the win is at the sales center. Oh, I bought a horse for $1 million. Look at this. Everyone's interviewing me. Who cares? When I get interviewed for buying a horse for $1 million, I what's the celebration? I'm an idiot right now. Get back to me in 2 years.
Right. Yeah.
So that's it. They fall in love with that. And there's nobody to forget about it. There's no one to teach a horse player how to handicap. There's no one to teach an owner how to be an owner. And this is a very, very tough game. And, if you tell someone you want to spend $10 million, you would have spent $10 million at last night's sale. Like, it can't be like that. You got to build it slow. And I did that myself, and I try my best to educate owners. But a lot of times, it's a big ego sport. So the bigger the ego is, like, Mike, I know what I'm doing. I'll do it my way. But everybody should go slow. Trainers should go slow. We're losing owners left and right. Mm-hmm. There's a guy that puts in $10 million. There's a woman who puts in $10 million, and they sit there and 2 years later say, what do you got? I got a one other than allowance?
Yeah.
That's not good. That's not good.
You've got to take baby steps. And like any business, I think you can't tell people what to do unless you've been there yourself, right?
Yeah, and even if you do that, they have the answer anyway.
Yeah.
And I come on so keen and calming and
you're a very low-key guy.
Yeah, I'm trying to just be super nice to everybody, and all of a sudden they start making fun of me. I have no idea what happens.
Your entourage is calling our producer saying he's got to get back to the barn. You got to let him go, because we could do this all day.
We got a State of the Union address. I don't know. We're just having fun though.
Hey, but most of all, good luck this weekend.
Yeah,
Thank you for bringing
Thanks for all
back.
you do. Yeah. Thanks for bringing fierceness back.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing, I think, because
I had to go there for having come here and win the Pacific Classic and watching you guys and how exciting California was watching him race. Yeah, I had chills, man. I'm still getting people come up thanking me for bringing him here. It was awesome.
Bring another 20 and we'll be good.
Yes, I appreciate it. All right, man. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Repole trying to win the Classic. He's got 2 charges. He's also trying to win with his 2-year-olds as well. We didn't get to that because there's a million topics we can cover with him. We'll be back with more on The Breakfast Show right after this.
Elegance is an attitude.
You might take something for your heart. You might get support for your joints, or even use something for your digestion. So why wouldn't you take something for the most important part of you? Your brain. People all over the country take Prevagen for their brain. In fact, Prevagen has been the #1 selling brain supplement nationwide for over 10 years. The most important supplement for the most important part of you. Try Prevagen for your brain today.
He's inside the 20. End zone touchdown.
For centuries, the bond between horse and human has been forged in trust and hands-on care. Thoroughbred Racing is combining that tradition with cutting-edge technology to raise our standards even higher. New investments in wearable biometrics, advanced imaging, and AI help optimize our safety programs.
That opening quarter mile was a quick one.
Every day, a commitment to improving their care. So win or lose, it's safety that runs first. To learn more, visit safetyrunsfirst.com.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket? No, but we do make them work. Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Well, here's Christophe Simeon. He is just hours away from starting his 6 rides for Aidan O'Brien over the 2 days. Christophe, I don't want to make you go through all of them because on the first day it's really Precise and Stade, the two most important ones. A lot of people see that. Both of them have got awkward draws. When you saw the draws for those two horses, what did you think?
We have to go for it. We have no choice. You can't go look backwards. And I think when you start to think at negative ways, it's wrong. It's an extra step to jump on, and we're going to take it. I think Aidan's horses, they are very smart, very professional. We're just going to need a bit of luck when they jump out the gates to get in the best position as possible, and just hoping that the pace will be on. But I'm not scared about the draw.
What about Precise and the impression she left on you when she won at Newmarket last time?
It was amazing. I still think I came a little bit early. She looks a bit when she hits the front, but she has such an amazing turn of foot. I was nearly last, and in a few strides she passed everyone like we are in a handicap race. No, she's really amazing, and she looks very happy here. We're just going to need, like I say, a bit of luck out the gates, but I'm sure she's able to quick and strong, and we're gonna do our best to make sure nothing bad happens to her.
A few people mentioned that Stade was a bit keen in the Dewhurst in the early part of the race. Being stuck on the outside, is that a worry for you?
It's not the best option, but he's going to break good because he always did. We're going to try to ride him a little bit more positive and just, see halfway what's going on. But he's strong. He stays. I'm sure with a bit of pace he's going to settle. And the good thing is that I'm not going to have horses on my right, on my left. So, no, I'm sure he's going to be all right. He's a top-class horse. He should won 1 or 2 grade ones this season. And he's the favorite in the race, even with that draw. So we're gonna go through it.
And then on Saturday, of course, the main ride is Mini Hawk, who ran a fine race in the Arc. Do you think if you had Dariz to aim at in the Arc instead of the other way around, do you think she'd have won?
I don't know. You can't say that because Dariz was not going to ride too positive because it was the first time he ran 9.5, and I think he's got a stronger turn of foot than her. but you never really know. We have to do the rematch, running the race again. I think the ground didn't help us. Draw 1 put us a little bit of pressure to ride close from the pace, make sure we didn't get stuck and coming to the inside, because I really think that day the track was better in the middle where we came. Unfortunately, the horses in front of us couldn't bring us until the 2 furlong marker, and I have to go on the bridle very early with her, and she was happy to go. We get catch on the line, and that's it. If you turn, when I turned my head after the line, I saw we have like 5-6 lengths in front of everyone. So if you take Dariz out, she will be one of the most amazing ARC winner. So I don't think we need to try to find too much excuse. For Saturday, the track is completely different. It's a different tactical race. So we're going to have to take the ARC out of our head. You never like losing a race, but for sure when it's the ARC, it's something different. But I'm sure she's an amazing filly, and she's going to come back for the top of her game.
The other 2 horses you ride, A Bedtime Story in the Filly Mare Turf and Lionel Winter. I think he's really interesting because obviously they thought a lot of him as a 2-year-old, and it's been a slow process in getting him absolutely right. But the last couple of runs looks like he's coming good.
Yeah, he's coming better and better. This morning he looks really cool. He was a little bit hot when he came the first 2 days. His last run was perfect. I like the run in Longchamp also in the Moulin. Sometimes, there is some horses that arrive well at the end of the season, and he looks one of them. And Bedtime Story, she ran well the last time in Ascot. She have a lot of races under her belt, but she still looks fresh. And I'm sure if she have a good run in the middle of the pack, she's able to do something big.
Last couple of questions. Would Minnie Hawk be the pick of the rides? Is that the one that you think, if you had to pick one horse to win, would it be her or would it be Precise?
Minnie Hawk, yeah.
And last thing I wanted to ask you, Christophe, is that, you know, a lot of people point out the fact that a few months ago this was not even in your mind. So as someone who's done all the things that you've done in your career, one of the best jockeys that we've seen in the last 20 years or so, you know, what is it like to have this opportunity?
You know, in life you prepare for everything. You prepare for the worst. That happens to me when I get the COVID twice in a season, and I saw my horses winning the biggest races in the world. And you try to also make sure that when luck can come back, that you're ready to put it on your back and show everyone you can get the pressure and still doing great things at 44. I still think we're learning every day with horses, especially when you have the chance to ride with the best trainers, the best teams like Coolmore now. I saw so many different things this last few weeks and months that make me even better, I think. And I'm very confident to finish the season well for them. I'm going to give back the key of the house to Ryan end of the season. And I was really proud to walk in his footstep, trying to do less mistakes as possible. You're always trying to win best races as you can. And I think we nearly did it. But yeah, we need to finish this weekend. Is probably the most important for the end of the year. So we will be there.
You're a baby compared to Frankie Dettori and Mike Smith. You've got many more years ahead of you.
Listen, that nobody knows really. We just need to get a bit of luck. You never know what happens in life, and I'm always trusting in myself. And I know I have to work hard to keep going and having the chance to have the good rides in the big races, and that's what happens to me this year. So we're gonna keep going this way.
Fingers crossed for a couple of great days, my friend.
Thanks a lot.
Bonne chance.
Merci. Thank you. Thanks.
I mean, he brings up a great point. I mean, so Joe, how old are you?
35.
See, there's not a lot of jockeys at 35 that I would take over Mike Smith or Frankie Dettori at 60.
Exactly.
Right. That wasn't pointed at you at all, my friend. But it is, look, it is an event that makes the horse, the trainer, it can make the career for a jockey. Think about how many people you've seen throughout your career, Joe, on the back of a horse that really made a name for themselves in a Breeders' Cup race, and that launched them to future success.
I mean, I've only won one Breeders' Cup in my career, and I mean, to this day, that's one of the greatest moments that I've ever felt.
But what did you do to your business afterwards, though?
Brought him all the way to the set.
Yeah. So I'm here at FanDuel.
This is the one time I wasn't going to make fun of you. I was actually teeing you up.
Thanks for teeing that up, Simon. I knew where he was going with that.
That was Simon's fault right there. At any rate.
I'm proud of you, Simon. That was good.
I'm in the same boat, man. I won 4 great ones, and I'm sitting here.
I know. I got kicked out of boarding school, and we all have the same job. Let's check in with Andy Biancone.
Well, Ned Toffee from Spendthrift Farm has made it down to Del Mar, and per Megan Toffee, Ted Noffee is actually your favorite child. How does he look to you training in the mornings?
I don't know if he's my favorite, but he's certainly the fastest. But what we've seen this morning, he looks really good. He's getting around the track. He's relaxed. He's moving really fluidly. I think, everything you could ask for at this stage. So things are very positive right now. All he's got to do is go out and line up and do it.
When you say he's relaxed, I mean, I couldn't agree more and have been overwhelmingly impressed with his professionalism this entire week. He certainly has a great mindset.
Yeah, I think we've seen that from him really from day one, going back to when he was broken down in Ocala. And then I remember in the paddock at Saratoga before his first start, he walked in there and wasn't wound up at all and really just was sort of surveying things and acting like he owned the place. So I think that it's a huge advantage for a colt, especially a 2-year-old that still is lightly raced. So that's something that helps him out quite a bit.
Ned, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck to you, the Toffee clan, and Spendthrift Farm with Ted Noffee this weekend.
Thank you very much.
Spendthrift also, they're so active in the racing world in multiple facets, of course, breeding, sales, racing. They sponsor a lot of our productions as well on FanDuel TV. They are very keen with the 2-year-old races. We have our Spendthrift 2-year-old race of the day. And through all of this, Ned Toffee, no, Ted, no, Ted or Ned, one of the two has been at the forefront of all dealings with us, and we couldn't be more thankful. So Ned Toffee is now Ned Toffee, and there's a look at him. The other thing I realized is that the two shortest prices in this year's juvenile are going to be real easy to spot, as they're both striking grays.
Yeah, he's 4-5 morning line favorite, and I don't think that post is going to hurt him at all. He's drawing 8 out of 8, and it's so interesting, Simon. Every one of his starts, he's drawing the complete outside.
Yeah.
6 of 6, 7 of 7, 8 of 8, but he has enough tactical speed to where, hey, I don't think he's going to be, 4 or 5 wide. He can lay right off the pace, whether they're going slow or fast, and I think that puts him in a great spot.
You've got the two morning line favorites from the two powerhouses, and Pletcher and Baffert, East Coast, West Coast. They're drawn next to each other on the outside. They're going to both go. They're going to send out of that inside spot, and something's going to give. Somebody's going to go ahead into the first turn. Somebody's going to pull back. Not sure who it's going to be, but Ted Noffee's proven that he can sit just off the pace.
There's Ted Noffee on the racetrack. Let's check in with Michelle Yu.
Everett Dobson is the chairman of the Jockey Club, recently elected here. How's it been?
Yeah, no, it's been a whirlwind. I think I've been about 90 days on the job, and great to be in the Breeders' Cup at Del Mar. This is quite a spectacle.
What are some of the goals you have taking over as chairman of the Jockey Club?
Well, I've set out pretty much an agenda that I want to be, I want the Jockey Club to serve and support its constituents. They include, certainly starting with the horse. The horse is our first, it's foundational in terms of how we think about my job and the Jockey Club's, the world we live in. But beyond that, the Breeders' Cup, the tracks, the horsemen, and of course the breeders are so vitally important to this sport. So all of the above, I want to be a Jockey Club that's thought of as one that they can rely on to serve the constituents in the sport and to support the constituents in the sport.
Supporting the constituents means you're taking in their ideas. Do you have any ideas in mind as far as under your leadership, something you want to make sure you accomplish?
Well, yeah, I laid out several initiatives at the Jockey Club Roundtable, but there are a lot of them. Aftercare is certainly one. Supporting our breeders and our regional breeding programs. Kentucky has set a model that is extraordinary in terms of its success. We need to be able to try to replicate that in some other regions around the country. I want more fan engagement. Fan engagement is so important to big league sports. I want horse racing to be a big league sport. This is, when you come to the Breeders' Cup, you see fan engagement front and center. I mean, I just came from the breakfast at the Breeders' Cup, which is, that's a brand in and of itself. It's an institution almost. So those are the kind of things we need to lean into and draw from and learn from. And so there's a lot more than that, but that is a highlight of high-level area of support that I want to show from the Jockey Club.
Why is the relationship between the Jockey Club and the Breeders' Cup so important?
Well, it's two leading institutions in this sport, two institutions that have great leadership, I believe. I have 12 stewards that I report to effectively as the chairman. The Jockey Club has a board of governors as well. That is very important, but we collaborate on so many things. We continue to talk daily, almost, and so it's two vitally important institutions for this game and this sport.
Appreciate the time so much, and I look forward to your tenure as chairman of the Jockey Club.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Everett Dobson.
Oh, you're not kidding about that, Brandon. I'm all Brandon and Lucchese today, my friend, and Longines. I'm supporting. I'm a supporter.
Yeah, we just have our FanDuel gear, Simon. Our buddy didn't tell us to wear any Lucchese. Actually, I don't even have any. Do you?
No, I don't. It's not, I'm not really into the cowboy look. That's more for Mike.
I want to see you with a cowboy hat and boots one day.
We are going to take our final break of the breakfast shows, and when we come up, we're going to take a look at the highlights from the last 7 days. We'll be back right after this.
Elegance is an attitude.
FanDuel held a shooting contest to promote its new MySpend tool. MySpend makes it easy to view your deposit and bet history all in one place. Because betting without knowing how much you're spending is like shooting in the dark. See the whole picture. Make FanDuel's MySpend tool part of your system and stop shooting in the dark.
Calling all trillionaires.
Come and join a club that has rewards for everyone. I'm talking birthday perks, free daily game, and other stuff that's fun.
Designed for people who love thrills like me and her and him, and with the weekly bonus back, our thrills are filled up to the brim.
So we're calling all trillionaires.
Calling all trillionaires. FanDuel Casino.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket? No, but we do make them work. Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Welcome back here to Breakfast at the Breeders' Cup. I am accompanied by Beliza. Actually, I am accompanying Beliza as she schools in the paddock here for Miguel Clement. I'm actually going to run up to him. She's a big old thing. What a beauty, huh?
Yeah, no, she's very, very, very attractive, as you can see.
How has she shipped in? What's she been doing?
She's been galloping a mile and a quarter the last several days, eating very well, and she's doing great. So we're cautiously optimistic.
This is one of the horses in the U.S. I think is going to love the distance of the filly and mare turf.
True, and I think she'll also love firm turf. I think she's 2 for 2 on firm turf, and it doesn't make sense she's from Europe, but I think she actually has an affinity for firm ground.
And is it true that you want to take over the mic? Who are you going to interview?
I'd interview myself first.
What question would you ask yourself?
There's many questions I don't know if it's allowed to do on air or not, so we'll discuss this later.
Oh, boy. This information is now taking a turn for the worse, guys, but Beliza looked fantastic schooling in here for the Clement tribe. Thank you, Miguel.
Thank you very much, Michelle and Miguel. Miguel is Michael in Spanish. Michelle is Michael in French. So Michelle, Miguel to Michael.
I like it. You just came up with that?
Mike is American.
I like it.
Yeah.
Just Mike.
Mike's nothing. Let's take a look at some of the highlights over the last 7 days as we wrap up our final episode of The Breakfast Show in anticipation of the Breeders' Cup World Championships tomorrow and Saturday. Here's a look back at the last 7 days. The sun rises over the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club as we are inching closer to the Breeders' Cup. Big names hitting the track. All the reporters we have spanning California and the entire country. It's breakfast at the Breeders' Cup. And there's a look at journalism.
Some of the biggest news leading into the Breeders' Cup Classic this year with the rider change to Jose Ortiz.
You know, I just let him stretch his legs and be happy.
Jose was happy with him, just more or less looking for the two of them to get familiar with each other.
It's the threesome from the Pletcher camp: Antiquarian, Fierceness, and Mindframe.
The three classic horses are all pretty straightforward to train.
This is Fierceness for Todd Pletcher as he was stretching his legs over the track.
Well, I'm happy to see my old friend Mindframe. This horse is a generational talent.
Are we forgetting about Antiquarian?
He deserves a shot to be here. There's no question about it.
Breaking news.
Sovereignty will not run in the Breeders' Cup Classic.
He re-spiked another fever, even though he'd had some medication in him. We retreated him, and of course now he's on antibiotics. But he's definitely out of the Breeders' Cup. I mean, there's no, he'll be scratched.
Sovereignty defecting is such a gut punch, but it is great to be in this new day and age of racing where safety is paramount. More horses on the racetrack. Forever Young out on the main track here, and he gets a little feisty. I don't blame him. It's a long flight. You got to work out some of that energy, some of the kinks.
I mean, his form is right there, and it stacks up against some of the best in this race.
Aiden's Army making his way out onto the racetrack.
First day on the track, and it was just to kind of get him out and show him the place, really.
The dirt mile is loaded with talent.
Well, I was impressed by Nisos, actually. He's a horse that's, a neck away from being undefeated. You've got to take the trainer into context here.
Talk to you about how the morning went.
Come on, I'm trying to eat a cupcake here,
I am joined by Mike Smith, who is the leading jockey.
Does that mean I won more or I've just been around longer? I'm not.
White Abario is going to look for another Breeders' Cup win. His friend right below him, well, that is Brownie. And I have it on good authority, Mike. Brownie rammed into his trainer.
That ain't his best friend. That's his bodyguard.
Horses, they enjoy company. They're herd animals, and he's definitely doing well with a go. I think it's a help.
I'm worried about that guy sitting so close to Brownie. He's an aggressive goat.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Lenny Lou making her way to the track.
There's a look at Lenny Lou and Andy Biancone getting this one ready for the Juvenile Turf Sprint. This is a body cam that we have.
This is exactly what you want to do when you're galloping a horse.
Is there a reason she's riding Michael Jackson style with just one glove?
I was only galloping with a right glove because I lost the left one. And if you know me, that answer tracks.
I've seen her lose her car keys, her cell phone, her credential. Thank you for joining us here on Breakfast at the Breeders' Cup. And just think about all the news in the last week. We began talking about this Breeders' Cup really in earnest when there was the dramatic jockey change of Humberto Rispoli to Jose Ortiz on journalism, one of the top 3-year-olds. Later in the week, we saw Sovereignty have to scratch from the Breeders' Cup Classic. We're billing this as one of the greatest classics ever. Even without Sovereignty, I still think we do have one of the best Breeders' Cup Classics ever, although you take the biggest star out. We just had Mike Rapoli on. We've had so much happen in the last 7 days. It's really hard to put it all in one package.
Yeah, kind of sad it's over with already, but yeah. Excited that starting tomorrow and Saturday, just can't wait. Cannot wait.
It's over for us, but it's not for the owners and trainers. It's still 24 hours to the first Breeders' Cup race, and these horses have still got to go out tomorrow morning and get through some of their routines into Saturday. So fingers crossed, racing starts here in 2.5 hours.
Yeah, we have to be right back.
Yep.
Got some nice tweets about Joe Talamo. I don't think there was any nice ones about me, but Simon might have gotten a compliment or two as well. How about Millie? The new kitten at Savvy Exact is enjoying watching the Breakfast at the Breeders' Cup with FanDuel. Hey, thank you very much, Millie. Breakfast at the Breeders' Cup coverage on YouTube has been great. Loving the in-depth barn interviews and access they're getting. Well done, FanDuel. Pick of my weanling ready for treats. And Kevin Kirstein. While it's a bummer not seeing Joe Talamo in the irons, it's been awesome hearing his perspective on Breakfast at the Breeders' Cup. Great addition to an already strong cast.
My man, Kevin.
That's KK, yeah. Solid. How much did you pay him?
Just a 20.
Literally breakfast at the Breeders' Cup. Oh, that's a stout breakfast right there.
How about the macros and micros in that?
Wow.
Ooh.
Makes my Lay's chips look not too good, right?
And breakfast at the Breeders' Cup is top-tier coverage. I put it to the head of any major sport. The crew strings it together for several days in a row. Great concept. Evolved into a great product.
Chance Moquette tweeting that out.
Thank you, Chance.
It's Ron Moquette's son.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of all the Moquettes.
He was here. I think he represented some owners last night. Had some action at the sale here, so he's been busy. Thanks, Chance.
If you were with us through our run-up to the Derby and some of the great racing throughout the year, you got to know content creator Griffin Johnson. He was part of the ownership group of Sandman. He's become quite the horseman, and we put his horsemanship skills to the test with Andy Biancone.
Guys, we've got the whole squad out here right now. We have Griffin Johnson, Mr. T from the Asmussen Barn, and Haley Amos from Breeders' Cup. But Haley's going to be our holder, and Griffin, let's do some horse care.
Yeah, let's do it. Come on.
All right, so
I'm taking your lead, by the way.
awesome. So I'm going to show Griffin how to put a polo on, and then he's going to attempt. Let's go.
Got it locked.
So Griffin, very important.
Okay.
They have a cannon bone and the tendon. Anytime you apply pressure when you're putting on a bandage, you want to pressure on the front is okay. You don't want to be pulling on their tendon. So I start on the inside of their cannon bone here. Mr. T's quite large, so I will start halfway down his leg. And I just put very slight pressure around his ankle. I want to support the back of his ankle, and you want to make this nice little V in the front. I like to go twice around their ankle. So I will go down, up, and I'll just continue with those very even lines and even pressure the rest of the way up his leg until we're at the very top. Velcro. Boom. All right.
The front's a little easier than the back, than the hind.
I'd say they're both about the same. You try the other side.
Okay, we can do that. What up, Mr. T? So, I'm pretty sure, so I've done this before. Last time they told me the most important part for this is definitely where you put the pressure on the front, right?
Absolutely.
No pressure on the back.
Exactly. You got it. Let's go.
And then which side? Do you have a side you start on, preferably, or you just start like this?
I'd flip it around
Okay, so you flip it like this.
like this.
The starting point for me, by the way, for this is the hardest part for me, starting it. I never know how.
That's okay. I struggled with this too.
Barn, they always teach me, how to do it. They show me, I do them, and then I forget which way to come around.
You're doing good so far. Okay, down.
Pressure around the front.
Yep, and try to just make even lines. Yep, you can go around the ankle now. Down.
Okay.
Back of the ankle. Yep. You want that V in the front, right?
Okay.
Okay, that's pretty good. Up, you want that V.
You want the V even more? Okay. So like so?
There you go. Okay.
Okay.
Again. One more loop down.
You're going to do another one around the ankle?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we can do that. Maybe.
Right on. There was a fly.
Oh.
You're doing pretty good.
I think we can do this.
It's not bad.
I mean, look, they might take it away and redo it, but I'll get a few claps and they'll look at me and say, "Good job."
Honestly, this is better than most horse owners. So,
There's yours, there's mine, about the same.
I'd probably give you, if it was one of my grooms, I would probably tell them no bueno. But
Yeah, we're lacking a little in the.
It's a work in progress. Like I said, it takes a lot of practice, and for someone who's just gotten into this, it's not bad. So, high five.
Okay, let's go. Mr. T, I'm sorry. I'll work on it.
Look, it wasn't pretty, but it got the job done, and I'll be honest, it's better than I could do.
I was about to say that, so thanks for
I got
saying
no
it.
shot. Yeah, I would have no shot.
It wasn't pretty.
I'm doing
And it
so
didn't
well.
get the job done. Sorry.
We got a crazy comment on YouTube. I'm not even sure why we're showing these on television. FanDuel, keep Joe Talamo and pay him well.
Oh, I like that last part.
Maybe we'll keep him at any rate. No, we should pay you well. We're not going to. We absolutely should. And let's take a look at some of the wagering coming up. As we get to the Breeders' Cup, it's the two biggest days of wagering on the year, where we also have live racing today at Del Mar and on Sunday. One nuance I want to make sure people are aware of. The Del Mar, the pick six at Del Mar is in general a $2 pick six. Breeders' Cup Day, though, it goes to $1. So for the Breeders' Cup, the pick sixes are $1. It's hard enough at $1 on those days. Every other day here at the Del Mar, thoroughbred meat is going to be a $2. We've got all turf pick 3s on Friday and Saturday. And the payout of last year's all turf pick 3, $630.30.
With 2 favorites.
With 2 wagering favorites.
So that's my favorite wager in Kentucky. I know at Keeneland started it. Now Churchill does it a lot. The payouts for that are so good if you could get especially a little bit of a long shot in there because the pools get so big with that $3 minimum.
Yeah, and the fields, 9 times out of 10 on turf races are bigger than dirt races,
Yes.
right? So you're getting full fields.
We've got these non-consecutive doubles as we were showing you, the juvenile fillies to the distaff, the juvenile to the classic, juvenile turf to the turf, and the distaff to the classic. The non-consecutive double payouts, the multi-days as well. And then we have all these special wagers, the all-dirt pick 4s and the all-turf pick 4, as those two will start early part of the card with the first Breeders' Cup races on either surface. So plenty to look forward to. Get your handicapping. And just as important as handicapping, make sure you structure out your plays. Make sure you know what you're doing. Spend just as much time mapping out your bets as you do handicapping, Joe.
I will. Don't worry, Mike.
You too, Simon.
Yep.
Been a pleasure working with you guys all week. This is my favorite show to do each and every year, and couldn't have done it with 2 better guys.
See you in a couple hours.
It's the nicest thing he said all week. I love it.
Yeah, well, thank that. You're not getting
wait till the camera turns off.
Yeah, you're not getting any more compliments from me. That's it. At any rate, that does it. Breakfast at the Breeders' Cup. We were here at sunrise every morning, bringing you all the Breeders' Cup horses that hit the racetrack and feeding you at the breakfast marquee. And if we couldn't feed your bellies, hopefully we filled your minds and we filled your hearts with these fantastic equine specimen and their feathered friends on the infield pond. We had horses breaking from the gates. We had horses galloping. We had horses in breezes. We had the favorite scratch from the Breeders' Cup Classic. We have a jockey change on one of the best 3-year-olds of the year. We have story upon story upon story. We have specially curated dishes from Michelin chef Curtis Stone, and we have live racing coming up from Del Mar in 2.5 hours. Thank you for joining us on the Breeders' Cup Breakfast Show, and good luck this weekend.